No. These are broken.
No, your headphones aren't broken.
I don't know.
And that's how we begin.
Yes.
Carl, your headphones aren't broken. We are live from the Westwood One Studios in Times Square.
And we good job.
Huh?
I'm cutting it in the middle.
What the fuck, man? Johnny Carson didn't interrupt Ed McMahon.
It's the other way around.
That's all Ed McMahon did was do the big intro for the show. And then he sat there like a big fat fucking drunk and did
Mikey,
nothing
start
else.
it again. Go ahead, do it.
Oh, really? Okay. We are live from the Westwood One
Wrap it up, Joey!
Hey, fell for that one, motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we want to welcome, my God, our big guest. Could be the biggest guest we've had so far, Shane McMahon. Welcome.
He's not here, bro. He's not here, bro.
Oh.
Oh, you're warming up that radio voice?
Well, I thought I would.
Fucking boo.
It's not time for the radio voice yet?
No radio voice yet.
Hey, Shane McMahon, what's going on?
Shane is not here.
Okay, then. I thought it was time. I thought it was time for the big interview with Shane McMahon.
I was before I got Mickey D's I was talking to Mikey.
Yeah.
Mikey said he was debriefing a perp.
Yeah.
You know, why'd you break into that house? And they said, well, because they didn't have a pool. And Mike goes to me and goes, you know, when that criminal was telling me what you said, because I'm the one that said that's how you know how to break into houses. If they don't have a pool, they're gone for the summer because they got money.
So there's a better chance that they're not going to be home.
And Mikey was like, you are the biggest perp I've ever met.
Wow.
He,
yeah.
He, for the first time, Mikey gave me those cop eyes. Like, he looked at me like a criminal.
Yeah. No, I don't ask you many questions, as you know, Carl.
You don't ask me a lot of questions.
No, I don't want to know too much. I really don't.
If you ask me one thing,
Can
I'll answer that.
Can I tell you one thing you told me?
If you touch my fucking hand again, I swear to God, I'm going to Krav Maga you.
Well, learn how to use a microphone. How long have you been doing this?
I talk like it's a flea flicker, right?
Oh my God!
Mike's touching me with his soft, warm hands. It's fucking weird.
Mike, do you have soft, warm hands?
Yes,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they're nice.
Oh, he goes, of course.
These aren't working hands.
No,
Can I tell the people one of the things you told me?
you can pick one thing you want to talk about.
Know
I'll
what
talk
this
about
fucking guy tells me, and probably the cop will back me up, that the garages in New York City are used by the drug dealers.
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea.
It's a haven for them.
Oh, you know this,
Yes.
Mike.
Of course, it's a haven.
So how does it go down?
it. So it's a 3-man operation when you're selling drugs on the street.
Yeah.
Especially in Midtown. So what you got is you got the guy. Now it's a lot harder for the cops because they're texting on their way in. They text the drug dealer in hot. The drug dealer waits. He comes up to the car, takes the money. He signals the runner. The runner goes down to the parking garage. There's some car parked in one of the first spots, gets the drugs out of the car, runs back up while there's a spotter on the corner, and then that guy gives you the drugs. So it's never a circle transaction. It's always someone's taking the money but not the drugs, and someone's giving you drugs and no money. And that's the cleanest way to do it.
Wow.
And let's be honest, you have to have eyes on it. You have to see the hand-to-hand transaction, the product, the money. So a guy hands you money is not a crime.
Right.
And you need, remember, the cops are together. You can't just be solo.
Right.
So you can't have one cop watching this guy, one cop watching that. It would never hold up in court. All people testifying.
Oh, just let them do their drugs.
And like in the hood, there used to be, them.
Like I said, I don't ask Carl too many questions.
So-
Back to you, Johnny.
So a lot of the times, the old Jamaican guys and stuff, they were smart. They would hollow out avocado seeds, and they would put them just on the curb, like with the garbage and everything in the gutter.
Yeah.
So when the cops came and searched everybody, it just looked like someone was eating avocado and it was full of drugs.
Wait, I still don't understand that.
He was little crack, like little $10 dime pieces.
Or in the middle
crack.
of the avocado?
Yeah, in the middle of the avocado seed. So there would be garbage everywhere. You know, it's the middle of Brooklyn. There's garbage, and it looks like a garbage bag's ripped open.
Right.
There's a couple avocado seeds, but they're full of drugs.
How do they hollow them out?
They got all the fucking time in the world.
An avocado seed is pretty fucking
dense. Yeah.
So they hollow that shit out.
And they put the drugs in there.
And they just lay them
And
around.
lay them, they're everywhere.
And they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So then you roll up, you want some fucking Coke or whatever the fuck, right?
It's all there.
And then they just pick up one of these seeds?
Yeah. You're all set.
No
Yeah.
kidding. Do they make you pick up your own seed?
No, this isn't apple picking.
You're not going to go pick the best-looking one.
Yeah, no, they know
You
what
knew
to do.
this, Mike?
Yeah, all this stuff's all...
It's all normal. It's all normal.
Yeah, but if the cops know it, then the drug dealers got to come up with a new way to do it.
But what are we going to do? Just walk by, pick up all
you
the garbage on the floor?
There's no transaction. You see, the cops need to have a transaction.
Yeah.
So now there's apps where you can pay somebody.
Right.
So now they just pay you online.
Dude, I was going to say, Vimo.
Yeah,
they
Vimo.
Vimo you.
Yeah.
So if you're the drug dealer, I'll Vimo you money. like $20. The guy will text me, all right, pick up the milk carton on this corner.
you're
So
done.
you just you just walk by. And now the drug dealers are all watching. They're on the corner because they want to make sure no one's just grabbing their shit.
They got spotters.
And they walk over, they pick the bag up, and you can't just stop a dude. You know this dude's an addict. You can't be like, stop, open the bag up.
Right.
Dude's a sandwich in there. It might be a sandwich with the drugs on the bottom of it.
The L train used to be big, where there was guys just on the trains. They used to call him the Ghost.
Yeah.
And he was and everybody knew he was on the train.
Yeah.
From X amount of time, from this time to this time.
In which car, which, like,
And then
where to stand.
And where to stand. And then you would go and see the Ghost.
Wow.
Carl, you'd be one hell of a cop. Wait, we need you, Carl. Come on over. 212 recruit.
I would bring him to the other side.
We need him.
I would be good. Yeah, the Ghost. Everybody knew the Ghost.
Yeah, but you guys don't really give a shit about these small transactions,
Well, no,
right?
you get the big ones by getting the small
No,
ones.
I
That's how cop
understand.
works.
I
You shake
understand
the
how
big
that-
guy down.
Exactly.
I
It's
do understand
the
that.
debriefings. Hey, work with us. Let's keep going step by step by step.
No cop wants to be known for banging, like arresting everyone with a nickel bag.
Yeah, you get
That's a lot of work.
You
Oh
get
my
destroyed when you come in the precinct.
Yeah, like,
it's like, yo,
whoa.
what'd you get? And then you get killed. They'll take pictures of it.
Oh, really?
So, they're brutal, and that's why, it's
you
funny.
want to talk about this shit?
And no, I'm not just giving any. This is just facts. Everybody knows this.
Yeah.
When we first started working, you guys were making fun of me, and you're like, "Yo, can you take it?" I'm like, "Dude, it's where I work. It's the most brutal place
Oh,
ever."
sure.
Cops are brutal.
Just say you guys are partners,
Right.
And you chase the dude down. You see a hand to hand. You're like, "I know that guy has a lot of shit on him." And meanwhile, he might have like 3 decks of heroin. Dude, they'll put a plaque up like Cop of the Year with the 3 decks, dude, and they'll go on the Twitter and be like, "Yo, put it on Twitter. What a good job he did." Oh, they're brutal with each other.
Yeah. So the cop doesn't want to do anything without weight.
No, you
So
look
a lot of
ridiculous.
times the cop will look at you like, guys, please.
And a lot of time, if you know,
So is that how you haze the new guys?
yeah, but
Because
even like,
obviously the new guys are stupid.
Oh, yeah, and then you
stupid
tell
enough
them-
to fall for that.
Oh, the new guys
everything.
are sliding over the hood of their car to get that nickel bag. Like, fucking
they-
freeze.
Shane McMahon not here. He's 10 minutes out.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's not. He's canceling.
We got Shane McMahon today, but we
this
decided
feels
to
like a
start early.
cancel.
You think it's a cancel?
I would love for this to be a
Oh
cancel.
my God, I would laugh myself
I
silly.
would love for this to be
I
a
haven't talked to
cancel.
Shane McMahon in I don't know, a few years now. He's an old friend. We go way back to the WNEW days. He handpicked me and Anthony to do the pre-show for the XFL.
That worked out. Guy's
we-
got a good eye.
We were
He's the worst scout in the game.
we were so over our heads.
Who else did
I
he pick
mean-
out? He picked out Timothy McVeigh to do the construction on his house.
We had to interview the XFL players, and I mean, out of the entire league, maybe 2 or 3 went on to the NFL. So they're all like guys that already got cut from numerous NFL teams, and we had to interview these guys and make believe they were somebody. Oh, that was a nightmare.
Yeah, it was brutal watching. And you guys were on TV and you had the like fake drinking contest when you guys were betting. Let's bet a beer,
what?
Anthony. Oh, it was brutal.
It was kind of douchey.
Let me tell you something. I'm a big fan of Opie and Anthony for many years. Not like
Big fan? Big fan?
Big fan. Not
Big
like
fan.
you. Not like you. Not a weird fan, but a big fan.
Yeah.
And I always liked Howard better, but that, but
So did I.
I'm out.
Joey, wrap it up.
Wrap it up, John. It doesn't get better than that.
Oh my God, we just did a 10-minute podcast. Take it away, Jewy.
So, you guys sucked on TV.
Because we were out of our element, man.
Oh my God.
They threw us in with the wolves.
I mean, first of all, you guys. I mean, good looking for radio, but for TV, man.
Whoa,
wow.
hey,
Oh, no.
hey! Don't put me in that fucking.
Well, whatever looks you had
category.
were gone with that catatonic nervousness that you had staring at the camera.
I'll tell you this, man. You know, Ant brought my number fucking down when we were standing next to each other. I'm like, hey, whoa!
Whoa! Who brought that one?
I'm about a 7.5. Standing next to Anthony. Next thing you know, everyone thinks I'm a 5.
Oh no, it's actually next to him, Antonio Banderas. But
love you, miss ya.
But
Anyway, yeah,
you guys on TV were wooden.
We were.
You were green. No one ever coached
Dude,
you or anything.
we were
huh?
out of our element, man.
Carl, did you ever see when they had to run at halftime?
No,
They had to
I
run
told you I was a big fan, not a weird fan.
the 50-yard line.
Well,
I was only 6.
We had to run for the ball because in the XFL, if you remember, the 2 players ran for the ball, and whoever grabbed it, that team got the ball.
Right.
So they made me and Anthony do it. And Anthony, you know Mike, he always needed to be the guy. And at the last second, we're running full speed. He gives me a fucking push that should have broke my fucking neck just so he could get the ball.
And you fell?
Oh, boy, did I fall. And I'm like, okay, I got it. I got what's going on here.
So he
I'm trying
threw
to
you
be
on the
nice.
floor?
Huh? Oh yeah, but it wasn't for like the gag or for the.
Okay.
He needed to win, and he needed to win over me. Look at the clip for yourself.
Joey here. Let me earn my money, since I'm the only one actually making any on this podcast, by digging for the clip of this debacle of a pregame. Yeah, it's a visual, and I'll leave a link so you can judge for yourself. Not whether or not Greg's better looking than his ex-partner. That's too fucking obvious. But there's a part where O and A are sitting with these planted hotties in a bar-type setting, having a fake beer, checking out the replay of the incident. And by the way, Jesus, Greg, when you run like that, you kind of deserve to get pushed. But in this circumstance, dick move. Good news, nobody in the stadium saw it, because there wasn't anyone in the stadium. But here's the clip.
I beat you. Totally nailed it. Anthony, there's no instant replay in the XFL. Right. If there were, it would be obvious that you cheated. Can I see that tape again? Look, right here, you pushed me. I go flying by the ball, and you end up with the ball right there. Who has it at the end? Thank you. Me. Thank you. You cheated. You cheated. I win. But I'm a man of my word. Here's your beer.
Oh, man. Opie, look at the lanyard. That push was hard.
No, there was some realness behind that push. That was the day I was like, oh my God, what is going on?
That was the day? Every day was the day. Every day was the day.
There's probably a few others.
You know, when Anthony set my house on fire, I said, today's the day.
Kind of realized we weren't really brothers. We weren't really brothers in arms. It's every man for himself.
I mean, that was the funniest clip I've seen so far in the XFL.
If he did it for the goof, who cares?
Right.
Or good TV, but there was a realness to it, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But anyway,
And how much money were you guys making back then? How much did you make for the XFL?
Oh, I don't know. That was like, I don't know, a few $100,000.
That's not bad.
Yeah. They paid us very well. We were on NBC.
Oh, you were?
And
I could tell from the pass that you had around here. Exactly. Room 6-7, floor B. Jesus. If lost, please send back to Greg Hughes. I mean, my God.
I remember
you were so paranoid. No one knew who you were.
I remember we did, I think we did like 4 episodes before we got canceled. And I remember the guy, like one of the big fucking wigs at NBC Sports. We go to Giant Stadium, and we're in his office. He's kissing our ass. You guys are #1 in radio. This is going to be great. Your fan base, blah, blah, blah. Like, he would have blew us if we asked, right? Fast forward, the ratings are sinking for the XFL, so they don't really need the pre-show anymore. That's just stupid. That's wasted money. So we were going to be the first to go. We're in an elevator with this guy, right? It stops off on a floor at Giant Stadium. Me and Anthony are already in the elevator. This guy pops in. It's like he saw 2 ghosts. He's like, fuck, I'm in the elevator with these guys. Because he knew he was basically firing us that Monday. And he wouldn't talk to us. And I remember leaving the elevator after he got off on his floor. And I look at Anthony like, we're fucked. It's over, Johnny.
Right.
And sure enough, it was. So
Unbelievable.
that's how they are, though.
Did you give your lanyard back?
Yeah, I did.
With your personality pins on?
Reluctantly, like,
Oh, man, I just finished stapling this thing to my CB Sports.
Crouched at the starting line.
I thought you guys were going to be in the XFL documentary.
That's cake.
I thought,
Going the distance.
Oh, God.
I thought you guys were going to be in the ESPN 30 for 30 doc on XFL.
I had the guy on the last version of the radio show at Sirius XM, and he goes,
I called you 20 times. You didn't answer. Yes?
I don't know if it's true.
I was right there.
No, I don't know if it's true that he did, though.
Yeah, but you see, when
It
he
makes
talks
for a
like this,
good
it's because it's true. He's like,
story.
I don't, yeah, it's true. Opie was fishing.
Because they thought about everything.
30 for 30, or I got stripers coming.
You might be right. I could have been in a 30 for 30. I should probably take some of this stuff more seriously.
You think?
I'm trying to tell you.
And that XFL 30 for 30 was really good.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was all right, man.
And you weren't in it?
No, not even a mention. Oh, no, Bob Costas mentioning us. That twat. He called us out for being what? Just unprofessional. Find that clip.
Was it sophomoric? Was that what he called you?
I think he called it You're fucking.
That's fucking creepy, Mikey.
I think it's
Super fan.
Yes, I don't like this super fan behavior.
Do not help this out.
No, it was when
likes me.
Bob Costas was interviewing Vince McMahon, and that was the time Vince McMahon almost punched Bob Costas because Vince was getting really
The veins
mad.
was popping out of his neck.
And he leaned in like, are we going to do this? I forgot the exact quote, but it got close where he was going to pop Bob Costas. And, man, I don't think there would have been too many people complaining about that if that went down.
XFL ratings are down 75% from week 1. They now rival the lowest ratings ever in prime time, not just for a sports program, but for any television show.
Right.
I think there's a general perception that while the XFL doesn't go anywhere near where the WWF goes, that it's a low-rent form of
Have you
television.
seen any of the games? Tell me what is low rent.
Not so much within the games. The pregame show, especially week one,
We don't have any
was one of the
pregame
most
shows.
mindless things I've ever seen.
We don't have a pregame show.
Week one, there was a pregame show.
We don't have any pregame shows, which is one of
Anymore?
our problems. No, we've never had a pregame
What was the
show.
pregame show that aired in Los Angeles, in New York, and in other markets a half hour prior to the first game?
A local thing that the NBCO and O's put together, of which we had nothing to do with.
I hate Bob Costas.
I'm not a fan.
My favorite of all announcers or things is a boxing guy whose name is Larry Merchant.
I know Larry Merchant.
Larry
We all know
Merchant
Larry
talks
Merchant.
so much shit right to the boxers' faces. Like, he'd be like, Mike Tyson, you're a complete failure.
Yeah.
You lost your third fight.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Right.
I'm like, wow.
Was it Floyd Mayweather who came in his face? He goes, "You're lucky I'm not
Yeah.
like 30 years younger." Right to Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, he wanted to fight Floyd Mayweather. He was drunk off of Cuddy's and
Larry
water.
Merchant said that.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Put it in, Joey.
Put it in.
I like that. I'm producing. You like that?
We can really drive Joey nuts.
Yeah, too late.
Just start going. Put it in.
I'm putting it in right now. Can you feel it?
Knock that out, Joey. Hit that with a little EB's guitar.
And I want to thank EB Guitar Man on
EB
Twitter.
Guitar.
Easy. That's my friend.
The nicest rock star ever.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
really nice.
Here's your fucking clip that everybody already saw, including my 83-year-old mother.
Hey, Joey, it's Mom. Tell Carl everybody knows about Merchant Mayweather. By the way, love you on the Food Channel, Carl. Say hi to Guy.
You don't ever give me a face shake. You know that? So I'm gonna go and let you talk to Victor Ortiz, all right? I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview. What are you talking about? What are you heard him. You never give me a face shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You're not shit. I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass. You won't do shit.
So you know anything about Shane McMahon, my old friend?
Yeah, he's yep.
What do you know about him?
Nothing.
Really?
I tried to read the one sheet that Mike did.
Yeah.
It literally stutters like him.
I know.
Like, I've never seen stuttering on a page. It's like wrestling, British Bulldogs.
It's very.
It's not. That's not a one sheet. A one sheet is one sheet. This
No,
is two sheets.
It's very thorough.
I'm gonna read it. Shane McMahon by, what's your name? Mike the Cop. 2001, but Dice on SmackDown, 1990. Boom, 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 pew, pew, pew. Larry the Indian, 1907. Done. I can't. That makes no fucking sense.
Shane McMahon survived the helicopter crash.
That's what I want to talk
We
about.
got to talk to him about that. That was a year ago, in the summer, and I think it landed hard in the waters off Gilgo Beach out there on Long Island. Right? Survived a helicopter crash.
Did anybody die in the crash?
I don't think so.
No, it was him and one other person.
Which is rare.
Oh, someone's private chopper.
Oh, I don't know.
Not many people survive helicopter crashes.
Helicopter. A lot of people do.
What do you mean a lot of people
There's
do?
a lot of low-speed crashes in helicopters.
Yeah.
Like, planes are different because the wings are filled with fuel and the thing just turns into a firebomb. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we're going to talk about. Now, what does this guy do?
I don't know. I'm just saying hi to an old friend, Shane McMahon. I don't know anything about wrestling anymore. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, let him tell us the wrestling stories then, right?
Yeah, of course. We could talk about Andre the Giant. He knew Andre the Giant back in the day when he was growing up.
I love Andre the Giant. One of my favorite.
And that documentary on Andre the Giant was great. Did you see it?
Nope.
Then you don't love Andre the Giant.
I didn't know he had a documentary.
You didn't know that Andre the Giant had a documentary?
I had no idea.
My God,
What
man.
channel is that on?
I think it was on, I think that was an HBO documentary.
Ooh, I missed that one.
I just coughed and farted at the same time.
Oh,
That will
come on,
clear
not in
everything
this
out.
room. It'll clear the room out. Is what it's going to clear.
That'll clear everything
Come on,
out.
bro. Come on. Don't shit yourself.
No, man. I apologize.
No, you don't.
No, I don't think it's cool to fart in front of adults.
But you just did.
Because I coughed so loud that it pushed the fart out. With that, we say hi to Shane McMahon.
How are you?
Look at Shane carefully looking around to see if this is a legit podcast.
after, and I was just like, let's check it out.
What's up, Shane?
How you been, man?
Shane, you haven't aged. You haven't aged.
I've definitely aged.
Nah, maybe a slight gray.
I
in
got a
there.
lot of gray up there,
But,
yeah.
but besides that, you look good.
I feel good, train hard, just...
Are you still training to wrestle?
I still do that from time to time. They dust me off and put me in there.
Isn't that insane,
Yeah.
Carl? This is Carl,
crazy.
by the way, the
Yeah,
Cuban.
how you doing?
How are you?
How
Nice to
Pleasure.
He's a big
Nice to meet you.
he's a big star on the Food Network with Guy Fieri.
That's great, because I'm a foodie.
Are you really?
I love it.
Oh, good.
Well, if you're a foodie, you should know this guy.
No.
He's
He has
big
no
in that
idea,
community.
right?
He has no idea.
He's looking right through me.
Yeah, but my wife would know. She
Yeah.
knows everybody.
Yeah,
in the
anybody's wife or any
They
grandma
know.
or like fat girl knows exactly.
Yeah.
What I'm talking. That guy's awesome. That guy's money.
Well, I'm watching you now. I like
yeah.
it, especially the hat. That's pretty cool.
It's a Nantucket.
Nantucket?
Yeah, we were up there this summer podcasting.
Food's good there.
It was awesome, right?
Food is really. I was really impressed. You could tell the rich people there complain a lot. Like they figured a lot of shit out there. Great place.
And they made sure they got really good chefs up there.
Yeah, that place has money. Like there's places that look like they have money.
Yeah.
But they really don't. That place is rich for real.
Yeah, they got a lot.
They're very well
That's
off.
everyone has second or third homes.
Oh,
over
the
there.
boats. There's yacht traffic, like shit that you never see.
And these homes, they only use them like what? A couple times a
Sometimes
summer.
they-
They don't
So,
get.
they
That's
don't
how
care.
rich they. You're one of those rich guys.
And they're very. And I love vintage.
I don't have
cars.
a house in Nantucket, buddy.
But you
could,
could.
though, if you
You
want.
could.
You could.
Dude, we go so back.
I know, it's great
How
to
many
see you.
years?
God, many.
Like 1999.
Yeah, late 90s.
2000.
Yeah, we're going back.
That's when I was still watching wrestling. I'm not going to sit here and make believe I'm a big wrestling guy anymore.
That's okay.
But I'm still a fan of yours, and I'm still a fan of the WWE.
Cool.
Because you guys really took care of us back in the day.
It was a lot of fun.
It was. And
Yeah.
and those guys loved coming on the old show.
Oh, it was all fun. You know why? Because you made everybody feel good, just as you're doing now.
Right.
You're engaging, you're articulate, you have fun.
Yeah.
It's
Ooh,
just a blast
you
to
hear
be
this,
on.
Carl?
This
I
is
want
the
to
first
hang out
time.
with Shane and not you.
Well, you should.
He brings
because-
me down.
Really?
Well, first of all, Shane's very successful, and I think you need a little boost.
Oh, Carl's like effusive. I walked in, he's just like, he's larger
Yeah.
than life,
I'm
feeling
nice.
good. He's having a good
Yeah.
time.
Opie's just angry.
Well, that's the
Opie tries
bourbon.
he like makes believe he's a chef and stuff, and he's
Oh,
always
really?
arguing with me.
Ooh.
No,
He's like those
Uh-oh.
fake chefs, like you
No, I'm
know.
a good
Now wait,
I'm a
now,
good
are
cook.
you a true chef, or like are you talking like grill? Because there's a big distinction.
My grill game is really good.
Okay, because a lot of people confuse the
Shane.
two. It's not good.
No, I crush it on the grill.
What do
Really?
you mean you crush
Yes.
it? All you eat is like tofu and chicken fingers, bro. You don't do that. You don't know
Hot
anything.
dogs, hamburgers.
You know what though? It's joking, but hot dogs and hamburgers are hard to cook on a grill. Most people don't really know how to
No,
do it.
hot
They either
dogs-
overdo them, or they burn the hot dogs, or they get the wrong hot dogs.
No, the hot dogs you burn.
Like when I see somebody get hot, like, oh, I'm cooking hot dogs on the grill, and they're skinless. I'm like, you're the dumbest person I've ever seen.
Need a little char. That's what you're
He's a
saying.
little char. Yeah.
I
Needs
burn
a-
the shit out of my hot dogs. On purpose, though.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's good.
Yeah, and then I keep my hamburgers pink in the middle.
Okay.
See?
Yeah, man. All right, so Shane.
Do you remember the time you called in with Dice?
I do.
Yeah, because
That was funny.
Shane McMahon. Shane O'Mac is Shane.
What's happening?
We're talking to Dice live from L.A.
Hey, what's up, Dice? Shane, how you doing? I'm doing all right. I'm over here now. Where are you?
Shane.
Go ahead, I can't hear you.
Yes,
What the who?
Don't worry. You
Shane, yo. Shane, yes, talk to me. We're going to have a conversation. We'll just use their phone lines and their bill.
yeah, we were trying to promote some big wrestling event, and we had Dice. I think Dice was in. Whose birthday? It was your birthday. It was my birthday.
Hey, Shane.
Happy birthday, Opie.
Hey, thanks, Shane.
Oh, you had to call in for my birthday. We did that to big stars, and I felt like such an asshole. Yeah, that wasn't my idea, but then you have all the big celebrities call on your birthday, and it makes you look like you're a big shot.
Right.
But Shane was cool enough to actually do it. Dice called in, and then Shane, you couldn't really talk because Dice was all about it.
It was all over the place. Yeah, just back and forth. And I remember one thing. Part of his shtick was obviously he gets on guys and whatever, and I was like, all right, I'll just let this guy. It's not my first rodeo. Just let him go on and go on. And he's funny. You know, I'm a big fan of his. First and foremost. And then afterwards, he just kept going, and he goes, Shane, hello, that type of stuff. And there was silence. I said, they said, hey, what's going on? I said, hold on, this material's so good. I'm just taking notes. And you guys all burst out laughing. I just remember that one little line is zinging back, and then I got right back into promoting the show that we were doing.
I think he was trying to tell you how you should have sex with your wife.
Really?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that part.
No, that's why your line worked so well.
is that what it was?
Then it was silent. We're like, Shane, what are you
Oh
doing?
yeah, that's true. That's true. I remember
and Shane
now.
goes, I'm
Yeah.
taking notes. That's
Yes,
why that whole thing was funny, because he's going in hard, telling you what you should be doing, and then you spun that and said, oh, I'm taking notes.
He's the guy leaving the little teddy bear with the card. You lost me now. Shane, is this your first wife? Yes. Really? Did you go with any other girls before her? Actually, no. Really? Yeah. You friggin' idiot. First one. So how do you know that she's the best? Because it's the only one I've ever had. That's stupid. You're on the road. You're in Illinois. Do you know what slobs are walking around that town? They're a trailer park. You just bang the door open. Honey, I'm home.
You banged the door open. Really?
You take out the carrot stick, you start wiggling, they jump. Hold on, I'm trying to write all this down. I'm behind.
Yeah,
I'd be
just quick
terrified.
wits.
Terrified
Quick wits.
going after Dice. That would be terrifying. Oh,
Really?
he's a machine gun.
Yeah, he is a machine. That is absolutely the truth. So I got to ask you, why did you leave wrestling for 7 years? I never got the answer.
Just time to do my own thing for a little bit. Just wanted to leave the nest and spread my wings.
Right.
One of the main things is really focus on my boys. So I have 3 sons.
Right.
And, although I love WWE and my job, it is extremely intensive, especially travel.
Right.
And I was doing both, in front of the camera, behind the camera, and also, running, from a business standpoint, all the international business, consumer products, etc. So it became very taxing and very little time. So at that point, I wanted to really invest, what I consider my greatest investment ever, which is time in my sons. Right. And I did that. And so now I'm still coaching football. My eldest just started high school.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's 14.
Wow.
Yep. So he's doing that.
But there wasn't a falling out with the old man or anything? It was just
No.
time for you to just take a break from that whole
Yeah,
thing?
just take a break. Now I'm back in.
But you disappeared. I mean, a lot of people didn't hear from Shane McMahon for, I think it was 7 years, right?
Yeah, that was by design.
Were you traveling the world? Where were you?
No, I was here in New York. I live here in New York, and again, just spending a lot of time with my family.
And you were able to hang low like that.
Well, I did a bunch of other businesses
Right.
that I got involved with, and I'm very proud of, and still, I think they'll come to fruition here very shortly. So that's been a lot of fun doing all that.
Right.
And then once you start expanding, you do one, then you do another, and they become like little pet projects that then start to become businesses, which then take an immense amount of time. Then you have to get more and more people to be involved with them, etc.
Right. I respect that. Because you could have just stayed with the family business the whole way. I mean, and you didn't even have to work. Let's be honest. You never had to work a day in your life if you chose that path.
But
you were
when
brought
it's in
up.
your blood, it's in your blood. I
That's
mean,
true.
your dad is some phenomenal businessman.
Thanks.
And that comes down the road. You can't sit still. It's
Yeah,
in
but
your blood.
I think it was how he was raised, though.
Yeah, but you have to still do it. Like, you could raise a kid to be a chef, but if the kid's an idiot, it's not going to be a chef. Like, you have to have that.
Well, but how
Sometimes
do
you see like one kid has it, and then the other kid's like
But your
crying
dad-
in the corner on heroin.
But your dad's pretty much a billionaire. How do you teach your kid to have drive like Shane McMahon
I'm saying it's
has?
built in. It's built in. He looks at being a billionaire different than a regular kid looks at. It's just either you have it or you don't. I see it in my business all the time. Like, you'll see the son of a chef, and you look at him. You're looking at his dad. He's got the same hands and the same drive. And then you look at the other kid, and he's pant waist, just crying in the corner.
Well, then you got other kids that absolutely take advantage of it. They don't
Right.
have any drive of their own, and they're just going through life lost.
You're built. You remember, you're half that dude anyway. You know what I mean? So some of them have it, and I see it all the time in my business. In every layer of my business, I see it. Like winemakers, great winemakers. I'll have one kid that's, I don't care what you did, Dad, and he opens his own little vineyard, and next thing you know, he's ginormous.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it's built in.
Well, but what's cool about Shane, so he goes into the family business, and you went into the family business. You could have taken the easy route, but you were in some of the craziest wrestling matches ever.
Yeah, that actually happened by accident. Because again, I was always behind the camera, and both from a business standpoint and then production standpoint. So I was a production brat growing up, and it was a lot of fun. And then one day, the storyline kind of called for me to be in front of the camera, and it caught fire.
Right.
So, and then we just ran with it. So that's how I started getting into some of these matches. And, as a kid growing up, I heard you mention Andre the Giant as I was walking in. That was one thing that, I always wanted to be Andre the Giant's tag team partner. And, I told my dad, I go, look, I'm going I'm gonna grow up to be big like him, not small like you. You know,
Right.
a little kid. You know, that's how they got me as a digression. Eat my vegetables for like years. You gotta eat your vegetables. You'd be big like Andre. Obviously, lo and behold, he's a giant, and that's never gonna happen. You know,
That was a little unobtainable.
yeah. So I always had the passion to be in there because I was always around the business. I've been going to events since I've been 2 years old. So there's always a part of me that wanted to be a performer. Just never thought it would come to fruition because my grandfather, who really started WWF at the time, was much more of separation of church and state. You know, you had office and then you had talent. So don't cross the line. And then again, right scenario happened. We crossed the line, and then again it caught fire. So then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to have one match. So I'm like, let me throw it all out there. You know, I thought I'd have one match.
One good match.
One good match.
Wow.
Like, all right, let me get this out there. It'd be awesome. So I kind of like threw in the kitchen sink and everything else. And then that worked. And then where do you go from there? So you got to keep upping it, kind of upping the game. And then, you know, fortunately or unfortunately, kind of get known for some of those, you know, more throw caution to the wind type things, you know, fly through the air. And
I think it gets progressively worse.
yeah. Well, it's not, you know,
or better.
It's not the flight. It's the sudden stop that usually gets you.
Exactly.
I gotta say,
that's funny shit.
I can relate to this, and I'll tell you why. That's how I felt the Opie and Anthony show was when we got fired the first time. We started doing some of these stunts like, let's just do this crazy stunt to create talk, and then we'll get more people to listen. But then these people were like, well, what are you going to do next? And we always felt like we had to top ourselves, and it got to a point where we had couples having sex in a church, and we blew up the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
But just like you,
But that was just because that guy didn't hit the dump button.
Oh, well, I mean, we could get into that another day, but yeah, absolutely, to be honest with you. But I can relate to you because it's like somewhere along the way, we never felt like we could stop all that. And it sounds like you were feeling the same shit.
Yeah, just more of my own internal stuff that I always wanted to, you know, I wanted to do better, and I wanted to always leave, you know, our fan base with something memorable, and I wanted to be proud for myself. I was just like, I'm going to do this one time. So that's how I always approach it, again, because I grew up as a fan.
Right.
And I know what I would like to see, and so that's now part of my character. And now every time I'm in a match, I try to deliver the best possible experience for them, because they really are the ones who make it all go around.
Yeah.
Because without fan base and them appreciating the product, then there's none of us.
Right.
Did your parents ever step in and go, yo, you don't have to go this far, Shane?
Yeah, they did. One time,
especially your mom, I would assume it would be like.
Oh, my mom and my wife, Marissa, were one day. Oof. So one of the things I was in the Big Show. So this is when I did one of those stunts that you were talking about, and I don't know how high I was, 50 feet or something. And you know, at the end, I dropped an elbow on the Big Show, and I told my wife before. You know, I said, look, you know, camera angles make things look so much bigger. You know, it's like, you know, it says, you know, the camera puts on 10 pounds, you know, and I said, so it's going to look really high, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, you know, because I never tell her, you know, pretty much, I try not to tell her too much.
Yeah, of course.
You know, that's a whole nother topic we'll get into. So this was early on, you know, obviously in our marriage, and I was like, okay, so I did it, made it. And then I called her. She goes, well, I'm very happy you're safe. And then she was so mad. She wasn't talking to me. So I sent flowers. I found those in the garbage. Everything was just, I mean, she was PO'd. Mom is very similar too, where she cringes. She yells at Dad, and then Dad kind of, you know, circumvents and, you know.
Give me a break.
Yeah, give me a
He
break.
knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
God damn it.
Exactly. Linda, please.
We ain't raising a pussy boy.
So yeah, but my dad on one, I had a match with Kurt Angle.
Yes.
This was probably early 2000s.
Yes.
And you know, it was one of the kind of first of its kind, and we went through a whole lot of stuff. And after that, you know, my dad basically didn't talk to me for a little bit, and because he was so concerned. That's when he went from obviously being the chairman, the CEO, to just being a father. And you watch your son go through that.
Yeah.
And he was going out of his mind, supposedly, and he told me this after. He almost came out 3 or 4 times to stop it.
Really?
Yeah, which
Really?
totally would have killed the whole match. You know,
Right.
I would have been like, "What are you doing?" You know. And
What was that? Which match was that again? Just
Kurt Angle
for
I took on
perspective.
King of the Ring was.
But what were some of the things you guys were doing that was so
Oh,
insane?
Kurt, is obviously an Olympic gold medalist, and
Yeah.
the storyline, and a little hazy for me now, but the storyline was that I interrupted his Olympic ceremony and all that other stuff. So we eventually, grew into this match, and what Kurt did to me, like he was so irate that one of the things, because it was a, no holes barred, so you can go anywhere through. So we went towards the back, and some of the stuff is he suplexed me. So he suplexed me through this big glass wall. But when he did, this was kind of this was obviously a faux pas. I was supposed to go hit, and go through. Well, the glass that they had put in there was different and stronger glass. It was much more of like glass that goes in your windshield. So you could think about how thick that is.
Right.
Instead of, more a candy glass type thing that's supposed to break. And the reason they did that is because of all the pyro that was going off all the night. So we need something sustainable. But they weren't thinking that a human being has to go through this. So wham, I hit.
Oh, no.
The first I went whack, and it was just like a cartoon. I went poof, and I went straight down at my head. I was like, oh my gosh, around the concrete. And I was like, do it again. Boom, he did it. And then finally, I was like, you Olympic. What can we say on this show?
Say pussy, because that's what you want to say.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, you Olympic pussy. I can't believe you have. He goes, what? Finally threw me through. Went through it. Then we did it again, coming back, and it was the same thing. So it took 3 times, and we were both a bloody mess. And so that was just part of that war and epic battle that we had. But my dad, again, was freaking out. And supposedly, he could communicate with the ref. So he was telling the referee certain things. And the ref was trying to tell me, and I'm kind of looking at him, and the referee is going, he's talking, and I'm kind of hearing him, kind of not hearing. It's like Charlie Brown talking for a little bit.
Just 4 plate glass.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, buddy, I'm a little dazed right now.
Exactly.
So my dad thought I was disrespecting him by not listening to the call by the chairman to kind of, slow this thing down.
Wow.
So that's why he became even more irate and got more. So it was the one thing where, afterwards I was like, ooh. So Kurt broke his tailbone on in that match. And then afterwards I had Kurt's from Pittsburgh, so I got one of his favorite beers, Iron City Light. So we're sitting there in the back in the trainer's room, just banged up and high-fiving each other. And one of the highlights, and I've said this in the past, one of the highlights of our careers, we're both like, that was amazing, it was so awesome. And I went from the highest of highs and had adulation from all the boys, which is the ultimate respect you can get, on the inner circle. And so I was just like, oh my God, I was so moved. I was high as a kite from that standpoint. And then went, again, from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows as I turned a corner, and there's my wife, Marissa, just crying, because she just witnessed 30 minutes of brutality, and not knowing anything. She doesn't know if I'm okay. She just witnessed like everybody else. I went, oh, so that's the ebbs and flows. So it was heavy, man.
That's why I always laugh when people go, wrestling is so fake.
Yeah.
Granted, there's storylines and it's fake, but you guys are really taking real hits and bumps, and it gets pretty dangerous in there.
Oh, yeah.
As we know over the years from some of the injuries that have occurred.
Oh, I mean, it happens in anything.
These are giant dudes, though. I mean, you get hurt if you just mess around with them for 5 minutes, you'll get hurt. You're big guys. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's some big boys, and
they're flying through the air. That's going to hurt one way or another.
Well, I mean, one of the keys, again, think about it. We're an action adventure series where everybody does their own stunts,
Right.
And you try not to hit in the face, because then that's really going to do damage. You can't think about where you're going the next thing. But everything else, you look at a clothesline, to your point, you got a lot of inertia coming, speed, big guys. Clothesline. We have a demonstration afterwards, so I'm going to show you. It's going to be awesome.
I would love that. Let's do that in the middle of Times Square.
We do it right here. It's be awesome. But that's that's a very serious thing. But slams, suplexes, and what people just don't realize, they're like, what does a ring feel like? I said, well, go out in your backyard, jump up in the air, and land flat on your back. Right. It doesn't rip you up like concrete, but that's pretty much it.
Right.
And that's very jarring. So imagine throwing yourself back in that whiplash and slammed, and it takes an immense toll on your body.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Okay, let's pause for just a moment so we can go to our sponsor, Purple Mattress, which is purple.com. And just for the record, we apologize to Purple if we go off brand a little bit. But keep in mind, we are giving you a 4-minute spot here. Greg.
So what do I... Is this the one for the... What are we doing now? MySpace? These guys really know how to pump in the big guys in here.
AOL email.
Are we doing AOL email?
How sad would that be?
Oh, my God.
That we try to bring back AOL with live reads on our podcast. You don't know what you're missing.
Let me tell you, it tells you actually in English that you have mail.
You have mail. Oh, that's pretty close.
That was close.
You have mail. I could be the new voice of AOL. How great would that be?
Not a hard gig to get. Just call him up. Have Mikey harass him like he did Shane McMahon.
We're talking about the Purple Mattress Company. That's right. Did you spend the night tossing and turning?
Yep.
You did.
I toss and turn a lot because I'm fat.
I got to get you a purple mattress. It would be perfect for the creepy cabin.
Do they mail it?
I would assume they mail it to your house, sure.
Meet my cousin at the corner. I don't want anybody in the driveway.
And then it says, talk conversationally about how pain or stress keeps you up at night.
Oh, let's
hey, Carl, does pain and stress keep you up at night, making you toss and turn in your old mattress?
Funny that you mentioned that. Yes.
It does?
Yes.
You need a purple mattress, my friend.
Or a couple purple pills, and I get knocked out. I don't even make it to the bed.
Add a personal example. I've been waking up with a stiff neck and back pain.
That's because you ride on the back of motorcycles.
Or... I spent way too much on a mattress and still don't get a good night's sleep.
Mattresses are highway robbery.
I actually like their examples as much as I'm goofing there. So not with Purple, man. They got this whole thing figured out. If you're struggling to get a good night's sleep, you've got to try a Purple mattress. Purple company history, reasons to believe, least important section, cut if needed. Oh, right.
Cut.
No, they're like rocket scientists or something, so I think it's kind of cool. They know what they're doing as far as building a mattress.
What makes it so good?
Well, Carl, the Purple mattress will probably feel different than anything you've ever experienced because it uses this brand new material that was developed by an actual rocket scientist.
Rocket scientist?
Yes, a rocket scientist.
You shouldn't be sleeping. You should be fixing rockets. They crash all the time.
I mean, he lost his job at NASA, and he said, you know what, let's start building mattresses.
Mattresses are a very big deal. I travel a lot.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, Carl, why do you use expensive hotels? It's because of the mattress.
Yeah.
Like cheap hotels, the mattress.
They don't believe in it.
You can't perform.
Yeah.
The next day, I'm beat up.
No, Purple mattress, they understand all that, and their mattresses aren't like the memory foam ones we're used to.
I hate memory foam because sometimes things from the inside come on the outside and you can't get them out of the memory foam. They get sticky poo.
Oh, I thought you were going to go down the road of memory foam, telling you what you did last night. And you're like, oh, boy,
oh my God.
I need a shower.
My mattress just called the cops and my mom.
Boy, I sure hope Purple mattress has a sense of humor. No, man, the Purple material feels very unique because it's both firm and soft at the same time, so it keeps everything supported while still feeling really comfortable. Plus, it's breathable, so it sleeps very cool. 100-night risk-free trial. How cool is that, Carl?
Don't tell my family that. They'll be returning that in 99 days.
Yeah, that would suck if you did that to a fine company like
There's
Purple
people
Mattress.
that do that.
They do that crap?
You know what? They got to really be confident in their product to do that. Like, there's a couple companies that have done it, and if it works, it works.
Yeah, no, they know you're not going to give the mattress back. If you're not fully satisfied, you can return your mattress for a full refund, backed by a 10-year warranty, free shipping, and returns.
Oh, there you go. That's what I wanted to know.
You're going to love Purple. I'm getting Carl one of these, and right now, my listeners, our listeners, will get a free Purple pillow with the purchase of a mattress. That's in addition to the great free gifts they're offering site-wide. Just text. You got to text. Listen up. Just text Opie, O-P-I-E, to 474747. The only way to get this free pillow is to text Opie, O-P-I-E, to 474747. That's Opie to 474747. Thank you, Purple Mattress.
You got mail.
Hey, just
I hope Joey leaves all that in. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
The Westwood One Podcast Network. 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff.
Everybody at this point probably knows Jeremy more for his TNA contributions than WCW. But him being on camera sort of as a second for Vince Russo, I guess I just blocked it out. But he's all over this show.
There's a reason you blocked it out.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, you're trying to protect your sanity. That's what that is.
83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff. Free from the Westwood One Podcast Network. OpieRadio.
What the fuck?
The OpieRadio Podcast.
What the fuck is he talking about?
I'm confused.
No, I make fun.
We were talking to Bruce Pritchard and Conrad, and I got to ask you about this because when he was writing for the WWE, he swore that they were trying to work a story. Who was working the storyline? Vince, right? It was Vince's idea, your dad, where he wanted an incest angle with you and Stephanie. And I think, was it Bruce that stepped in and was like, yo, we just can't do this. Do you have any memory of this? He told this story and we were laughing so hard.
Well, my sister's hot. I don't know if I really would have minded that.
You got a new fan here, Shane. I'm going on Amazon. I'm buying a Shane poster. Who's my favorite wrestler? Shane, period.
No, I never heard.
You got my fucking attention.
You never heard that one.
I never heard that one. But
I got to go back to Bruce. Was he bullshitting us?
No, I doubt it. But because I mean, I'll tell you one that I personally said absolutely no to, and my dad says, "All right," and my mom was involved in some stuff, and my dad says, "All right," and then you come up, and then you're gonna slap your mother, and I went, "No." And he went,
Good for you.
He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Dad, I can't. I'm not gonna hit my mother,
Right.
ever."
Right.
I said, "I had a hard time hitting you, and you're my dad. I never raised a hand to you, you know."
Yeah.
That became easier when he punched me in the eye. I was like, "Wow!" I was like, "Oh," but no, I couldn't do that to my mom. But I never heard the
incest
angle. Wow! Wow!
Oh, I can't wait to get Bruce back on the podcast.
Veto,
Yeah,
definitely. would
supposedly he came to Bruce.
I'm gonna call him right after this show.
Yeah, call up Bruce if you can. Let's get him on his speakerphone because I want to hear his side of that. But that's too funny. Did you you hung out with Andre the Giant when you were a kid?
Yes.
So how old were you when he was, in the prime of his career?
Oh, well, I grew up. I kind of live rock and roll. So WrestleMania 1 was 1985, so I was 15. So the
wow,
glory years.
How cool is that?
Man, it was awesome. So you got to think 85 to, and I got married when I was 26. So 85.
Wow.
Up until 2005, I had an amazing
I could
time.
Imagine. Oh my God.
I mean, you see, everyone talks rock and roll and everything else, and
Right.
WWE is a combination of all of it. It's athletics and rock and roll and everything put together, and it's especially at that time. Also, in the '80s, were crazy,
Pretty wild. We all had some time in the '80s. You're calling him? Okay.
Get a call, Bruce. Good.
You have any good Andre the Giant stories? Did you see the documentary, first of all?
I did.
Did you think they did a good job with his life?
I thought they did a good job. That could have been a 6-part miniseries.
I was kind of bummed that it was so short.
Me too.
I really thought they could have done a lot more.
They had so much more material, but HBO is, they have all the specs on what works and how much time people would pay attention. They really have it down to a science. They did a very good job with it. But again, I thought there was so much more they could have done.
Yeah.
But the one thing is, Andre he lived life, and he always had fun. One of the things that I believe was omitted when I did my interview that didn't make the show was Andre. He lived by a code, and that's why he called everyone boss. And even though he was the man in the locker room, but he was very respectful. And as long as you fell in line and were respectful and you paid your dues and you did all that stuff, then he was good with you.
Right.
But if you were a cut up or a screw up or things like that, and you started doing stuff, he would set you straight. Here's one Andre the Giant story. So this big dude, okay, 300-pounder, 6'6", guy's name was Blackjack Mulligan.
Sure.
I don't know if you remember that name. So Blackjack was a real tough guy. I mean, badass tough. And he'd been eyeing Andre for a while. Andre loved to play cards. All of a sudden, Blackjack just got pissed off and was looking around and building up whatever was in his head for a while. Went over to Andre. Andre was sitting in a chair. Now, Andre was almost, he's probably 6 feet tall sitting in a chair because his torso was so long. I mean, he was huge. I mean, you have no idea how massive his head, hands. I mean, this is truly a giant. And Blackjack, all of a sudden, right from the side, Andre's dealing cards, sucker punch. I mean, just a straight right hand whack. This was told to me because I was younger. And then Andre looks up and he goes, holds his jaw for a second and says, "What'd you do that for?" And that big booming voice. And then Andre went underneath, backhand, sitting in the chair, knocked Blackjack off his feet over the table behind him.
Wow.
Superhuman, 300-pound man.
Sure.
Freaky.
Wow.
Freaky. But my best stuff with Andre is drinking, because the legendary stories about him drinking.
Yeah. And is it true? I mean, how many beers would he knock down in a night?
Oh, easy case.
But I heard like 100.
Well,
he can do it. I'm saying easy case.
Right.
No problem. But if he was that, it depends how long the night was.
Right.
And you got to remember a beer in Andre's hand.
Yeah,
12
I've seen
ounce.
the picture. It looks like
saw
a
the
baby.
picture. It looks like a little pony.
Yeah.
8 ounces.
Yeah.
Or a 6 ounce in our hands. We put it around and be like, oh, this is so cute. Because think about it. It's just like, done for a giant.
Was he a happy drunk? Was he a happy drunk or was he a mean drunk?
No, thank God.
I know.
Can you imagine? And Andre loved the ladies, or loved the attention, that, and dug a lot of the guys had to kind of earn the respect to kind of be around him.
Yeah.
And there was this one poor guy. His name was Big John Stud.
Sure.
Big John. Yeah, you're talking all my guys.
Big John Stud. Yeah, we're all the same era.
Yeah.
So Big John Stud was big, huge guy. 6'10", high threes, huge guy. And Andre didn't like anyone being close to being the giant. So Big John Stud would, became petrified of Andre, because you can imagine if this guy is actually angry at you, what's going to happen.
Right.
And, you snap your neck like a chicken. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're 6'10", 3. Andre was that freaky. And I remember one time Big John Stud just said, Andre is so mad at me, he's going to kill me. He didn't want to go to the ring. He didn't want to do anything because he had to face Andre, all this stuff. So basically, Andre is the reason Big John Stud, that's what they call ran him off. He got so scared that he just like, I can't take the stress.
No kidding.
Wow.
Can't take the stress.
Did the ladies really like Andre, or was it more of a freak show?
I don't know.
And I apologize.
I don't know.
Because I know you were close to him, but I would
No,
assume a
that's
lot of
fine.
women
They
would
did.
want to have sex with Andre. Because
Why are you going to be a hater on Andre like that?
He's not hating. That's okay.
Andre was what?
That's okay.
Probably
he got
my
more girls than you.
Oh yeah, because he's a fucking giant.
Well, here's the one thing that I witnessed.
Yes.
The thing that I witnessed, and what I call Andre handsome, no. But he was very engaging, and then around certain ladies, then he starts speaking French, and he becomes the Frenchman.
Oh,
and all of a sudden, it's like they're like, oh.
Right.
And then he changes.
Girls are so silly.
And they're like this, the personality is like, come here, come over here, mon chéri.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you my mic anymore.
And it's pretty cool.
And then it didn't hurt that he had a fire hydrant in his pants either.
Hey, you never know. It's gonna be, the giant.
Can you imagine if you had a tiny one?
That'll be the greatest.
That'd be the greatest.
That'd be the greatest ever. It's such an
peanut.
oxymoron. Andre the Giant. Sure it is.
That documentary though really depressed me because how he had to travel, I had no idea.
Right.
They were talking about how he had to shit in like buckets and stuff.
I mean,
What?
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't really sit on a toilet.
He couldn't fit.
So they would set up because these guys were flying to Japan, all these really long flights, and they would set up. I think the documentary said like shower curtains, and they had a bucket just for Andre because he couldn't fit in the airplane bathrooms.
He would have to.
That
if he
makes
had to
sense.
go.
That
But
makes sense.
isn't that insane?
He's a big dude.
I mean, they showed him respect, but that's how he had to go through.
That was tough.
Life.
And if they ever lost his bag, it was the worst. It'd be like, because then there was no big and tall. Even if there is big and tall, they don't have a 22 size shoe, and
Right.
And how. I mean, it's 500 pounds.
Right.
That's
He was 500 pounds.
And then
That's
he
a
had to
big dude.
sit in a regular airplane seat.
What was his height? His official height?
7'4".
7'4", 500.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
at the
towards
end
the end he was 500.
You can't stop a guy
Actually,
like that.
towards the end he was like 550.
A guy like that coming at you, it's over.
Forget it.
I didn't
He had an
realize
11-inch wrist.
I mean, if he tripped over you, he can hurt you. Like if he fell on you, it'd be
Oh
like
my
a piano
God,
fall.
yeah.
11-inch wrist.
11-inch wrist.
Think about that.
Jesus.
And I didn't.
I'm 6.5.
I didn't realize how young he was. when he died.
Yeah.
I just assumed he was a much older guy. And at the end of his career, he was he could barely walk, and he was still wrestling for your dad.
That was tough.
But no one knew that. Like, he
It was
pretty much had a walker.
Andre actually had back surgery. My dad flew, and you saw the documentary, flew to France to talk to Andre. He says, look, I got a dream. I want to do this biggest event of all time, which we just recently broke the attendance record when we did WrestleMania from Dallas. But up until that point, WrestleMania 3 was Pontiac Silverdome, 93,173 people, and it was Hulk versus Andre.
Yes.
And that was just awesome. But so my dad went to Andre was filming The Princess Bride. Said, hey boss, I got an amazing opportunity. I want you to be a part of it. And Andre got the surgery, which is also interesting because the anesthesiologist was so scared to death because he literally gave him enough drugs that would knock out a pony. And he's like, I just don't know because we're in a different realm here. I've never experienced this.
We're not sure if this is going to work. Is basically
Well, he's out, but
yeah.
how do you keep him out? You don't want a giant waking up, some like was cutting my back and kill everyone.
Right.
Or obviously hurt himself.
Right.
So
yeah. I never thought of the logistics.
Going back
of
to the life of a giant. So anyway, then Andre lived at my house. Well, he lived at a hotel, but he came to my house every day. And that's where he, started training because my dad has a weight room in the house, a pretty extensive one, and started really rehabilitating his back to get ready for WrestleMania 3.
Man.
What kind of car would he fit in?
A van. We had the Andre van. That's what we called it.
He couldn't drive.
No, he was driven.
Yeah, but I'm saying even if he wanted to, he couldn't fit into a regular car. Even in the 80s.
He could.
No, I think he had cars where he pretty much was sitting in the back seat.
Yeah.
To drive
a lot
the car.
A lot of times they take the front seat out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Police Academy, High Tower. When they rip
High Tower.
like ripping out.
I haven't thought of that, dude. That's awesome.
You got Bruce on there?
Hold on.
Oh, you got Bruce?
Oh, let's see.
Hello.
Hey, Bruce, it's Opie. It's the Cuban, and we got Shane McMahon. How are you, buddy?
I am absolutely excellent.
We're with Shane, and I brought up the time when you were on my podcast, and we were talking about Vince McMahon was coming up with that incest storyline, and Shane doesn't remember it.
Shane wasn't on the call, but it was during the time that Stephanie was pregnant, and Vince was trying to figure out if he could write that into storyline.
The plot thickens.
It was an entire Sunday. It was an entire day of my life that I will never get back.
Awesome. I've been there, but yeah, I didn't know that one. And when Opie just mentioned it to me, Bruce, I was like, it never got to me, so I'm thankful you killed it. Jesus.
That was always one of the things. It was like whenever he'd come up with crazy stuff like that, it would be like, oh, well, who's going to let Shane know? Me, not it. The funny thing is, we were all on the phone and we're going over everything, and it was a classic Vince. What if I was the father?
Oh, yeah, great.
Oh, God.
Nervous laughter because no one thinks he's serious, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, hey,
Yeah.
that'd be funny, oh that'd be great.
Mhm.
And it became, well, what if?
Awesome.
Oh God, he actually wants to discuss this.
You're right. Sick. Exhaust everybody. Sometimes he just does it for his own amusement, as you're aware.
I would imagine, yeah. Bruce, we got you on a speakerphone, so I got to let you go, but I definitely wanted to get that in real fast.
Hey, no worries, man. Nice to talk to you guys, and I will hopefully see all of you guys soon.
Yeah,
Have a
we'll
great
do
one.
this more professionally in the near future.
Yes, I sure as heck hope so. Shane, I'm back. I love you.
Same here, buddy. I'll give you a call after.
Give me one question I should ask Shane before you leave. One really good one that you wouldn't ask him in person, but you could ask on the phone.
Well, you should ask him about the time that he chose to get his ear pierced and show his dad his new earring.
That's what you come up with?
Everyone's booing him. That's not really that fun.
What was your dad disappointed? Thanks, Bruce. We're gonna let you go. We'll
See you,
talk
buddy.
soon. Was he disappointed you got your ear pierced?
Well, I didn't. So, this is, ninth grade. U2 was pretty big. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, and Billy Idol was hot, and I was just like, all right. I was like, I kind of like this because no one had it at that time, and I wanted to, obviously be a little more rebellious.
Right. Yeah.
So I said, hey, Dad, I'm going to get my ear pierced. He's like, absolutely fucking not. I went, wow, okay, and I was just like, wow. He says, don't ever do that. I was like, okay. So then he was on the road one day, and I kind of got my mom in it, so that's why my dad got so upset. And I got one of those clip-ons that really look good.
Was it the chain one?
Yeah.
I had one.
Yeah, see?
Fucking sick, bro.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
They look good, yeah?
Yeah.
It hurt after a while.
I had my
so heavy.
Capizios on. And
Nice.
The little chain. I looked
the
amazing.
Jabros.
Yeah, the Jabros.
Z Cavarici,
Yes.
come on.
My generic color shirt.
Nice. Members only in the closet, creased.
Yes. Dude, we could have hung, dude. I knew how to dance and shit.
Anyway, it's not.
God, he must have looked like an Adonis.
Yeah.
He looked very different than you.
Yeah, I looked like Shrek with dance clothes on.
So it's not much of a story, but anyway, my mom. I said, Dad, just want to let you know when you get back, off the road. He's exhausted. I said, I got my ear pierced. He goes, yeah, okay. I was like, no, seriously. And I said, you can even ask Mom. And my mom didn't like my mom. I don't know if you ever met my mother. She is such a wonderful lady, and she's a do-gooder. Like she's the school teacher mindset. Yeah. She always wants to make sure everyone's happy. She always wants to make a difference. I mean, that's truly who my mom is. So she doesn't lie. And she said, well, he does have something hanging off his ear. So that wasn't a lie. It was an equivocation of the truth.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. And so then all of a sudden my dad pulls up in the driveway, and I said, hey, man, I came running out, with the thing dangling around. I was like, hey, let me help you with your luggage, whatever. And all of a sudden he looks up, he goes, you had to do it, huh? You had to do it. You had to do it. Also, snatched it right out of my ear.
Wow.
So I was like, whoa. I was like, all right, well, I'm glad it was a clip-on because that thing
would have ripped it off.
That thing was coming out
He
fast.
would have ripped it right out.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. No kidding.
Yeah.
Was he a strict parent?
On certain things,
On
yes.
certain things like that, obviously.
Certain things, yeah, because, again, it was just more of how he grew up. Strict Irish Catholic. My grandfather was very strict Irish Catholic. So you don't, you wouldn't even say things like, I love you. It was like, hey, like affection was a pat on the head or something along those lines. Anyway, but my dad, broke that mold a lot. And but yeah, he was strict on certain things. Other things he wasn't. It was awesome. But yeah, once you knew you crossed the line,
wow.
Forget it.
It was
God. I mean, I knew, quote, Mr. McMahon before anyone else did.
Right.
Oh, that's
What are you kidding me? If he could fire me from being his son, he would have many times ago. You're fired.
You're fired from
being my son. You're fired. Oh, my God. I put him through so many things.
Did you guys know that The Rock was going to be as big as he became? My God.
No, but he had it.
He certainly did.
And when he first started, it gave him what's called the big push because he had such a lineage. Rock's grandfather, Peter Maivia, worked with my grandfather.
Yeah.
And Rock's dad, Rocky Johnson, worked with, my dad. And, The Rock and I remember meeting, we were young when we met, little kids running around Madison Square Garden. And, of course, I was always faster than him, so he's always looking at my, rear view. I was looking at him in my rear view. So anyway, I'm sure, hopefully, that gets out to Dwayne.
I hope so too.
True, it's true. But then, when you presented him as Rocky Maivia, the hybrid of the two, and he came out with, more of the traditional Samoan dress and just great energy, and people just shit all over it. They're like, oh my God. They're like, die, Rocky, die. Those were signs.
Yeah.
People would say that. They just puked all over it. We're like, wow. And Rock, or Dwayne, I should say, was decimated, as you can imagine. Here he is, the lineage that he's carrying on his shoulders, and he wants everyone to be so proud, specifically his mom, who is, the daughter of, Peter Maivia. And just carried such pride on that and was just like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And my dad's like, well, I know exactly what we're going to have a great time with this. And, die, Rocky, die. Here it is. And then we started the process of him changing around. So he joined the Nation of Domination, led by Ron Simmons.
Yes.
And then there he started getting his voice. So he cut his hair, got a little more cleaned up. And then that's when the gift of gab started happening. and he got to speak a little bit more, and you can see the star just rising there. And then we used, obviously, all those guys from Nation of Domination to be like, and Ron Simmons specifically, because he was the leader, put Rock in his place. And then people only liked that suppressing so long, because every time he grabbed the mic, people start to react, and then Ron Simmons would take it away from him.
Yeah.
Everyone would be like, boo. It's like, let him speak.
Right.
So that's really the evolution of how it started. And then, big credit to Dwayne specifically, because everything that truly happens in WWE is a collaboration. You have to have the it factor. You also have to put in a lot of your own thought and time to what that character is. It's not just one way, like here it is, a script on a piece of paper. No actor looks at that and says, oh, okay. They figure out, like Johnny Depp, for example, for Pirates of the Caribbean. He's like, all right, how am I going to play this character?
Yeah, he created that character out of the blue.
Well,
like Johnny Depp.
But you know
he
how he
figured
did
that
it?
out? No, I don't.
So his inspiration was Keith Richards.
Yeah, Keith Richards.
Oh, really?
So his whole mannerisms, and that's why Keith was in like the third or fourth one.
He's like his father.
He's like, who could be the kooky, awesome pirate? Like, what can I do? So that became Johnny Depp's inspiration for that character. So Rock again started thinking a lot. How do I create this character? What do I do? And then that's when it started with the $300 shirt, and like stuff that people, like my wristwatch is more than you make in a year, and that whole like stick it up your ass type thing. But he was backing it up with the gift of gab. So he was a villain, or heel, as we say in our business, and became obviously so popular. Then we just needed the right pivot point to flip him the other way, and then that was it.
And he took off. That was the heyday for me. The late 1990s, the early 2000s.
Yeah, the Attitude Era.
And he would come out with that monologue, and at first it was 5 minutes, then it was 10. It got to a point where you didn't want to see any wrestling because he was just crushing it with that monologue.
Right.
How long would it be some nights? Like 20 minutes?
Sometimes you go 15, 20.
Right?
And and that's what people don't realize. If it's good, no matter what it is, you want to keep watching it, whether it's a match or a promo or whatever. As long as you're entertained, then you're entertained and having a blast.
Right.
So
The Rock thanks you for that. If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
Let me ask you a question. I don't care about names or anything like that. When you were young, did you ever hook up with any of the girl wrestlers? Like when I don't care
like
about
the
names.
Fabulous Moolah?
I don't care who they were. But
she's hot, man. No is the answer. We definitely kept the.
So they kept that line, right?
I kept that line.
Oh, you did personally?
Without question, yeah.
All right. Good.
Yeah, I mean, plus back then, the female talent didn't look anywhere close to what it looks like now.
Right.
I'm talking when I was a kid. Like.
Yeah, we're the same age. Yeah,
young. So yeah, the talent was far different.
I should have prefaced this telling you that I like ugly girls.
Do you?
I didn't think the whole question through.
Oh, that's Carl's wheelhouse. He likes them injured.
My friend Robert Irvine, who's on the Food Network, his wife Gail, she was a wrestler for a while.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I was just messing around with her, and she hit
messing
me.
around how? What do you mean?
Like just like play wrestling, whatever, at the restaurant. It was like a bunch of chefs, and I was like, "Wow, you got muscles!" And she hit me this open face slap in the head.
Yeah,
I couldn't hear for like an hour. I was like, "Imagine doing this for real!" Like that's what it really hit me. Like this is a girl wrestler.
Yeah.
And I didn't know where I was. And these dudes, I'm like, how do they survive this year after year after year? It's crazy. It's like sports injuries.
Sure. Well, that definitely is. It's the same.
I mean, the older guys are beat up, man.
I know.
I mean, I'm friends with Mick Foley.
Yep.
He's moving a little slower these days. Fuck.
Yes.
But he put his body
he
through.
really went to the extreme, though.
He did it. I mean, yeah.
He really went to the extreme.
It didn't call for that. I'm not putting this on the WWE, but man, he threw his body around. My God, man.
He did. I mean, he did a bunch of stuff. Especially, I've seen some of his stuff that he's done in Germany and Japan, and I mean, for small crowds and even big crowds, it's like, oh my God,
right?
Like, dude, like that is serious taxing on the bod right there.
That's why he loves playing Santa Claus. He wants to just forget about it all.
He's done it. He's done it. Like, hats off to Mick. Hats off to him. He's done it.
But now he's just happy being Santa Claus. He's obsessed with Santa Claus.
Is he really?
Where's the WWE? Where you guys at with Hulk Hogan these days? Are we getting close to a return? Give us a scoop here, Shane.
No scoop.
I need a little bump in this podcast.
Scoop.
Give us a little something.
That's
today.
that's a VKM question and answered only by him, which would be Vince.
I understand
You
what
got
that
that one?
means.
Yeah.
I'm just studying your body language.
It's the same.
I think it's time.
You think it is?
I think it's time, yeah.
Potential.
Well, what would Hulk Hogan come back for what?
Anything can happen in WWE, you know.
Well, I mean, you know, he got himself in some trouble, and WWE had to do what they had to do to kind of protect their interest, and yeah.
That's all right.
And now there's rumors that
Any
you know,
whiskey or anything?
oh, we
Some
got
of the water.
We can find some whiskey. What do you think about Hulk coming back?
What else you got?
I went to his store in Orlando. In Orlando, he has like his own Hulkamania store. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
like
well-
see all the belts.
Yeah.
And then his like stuff, and he has like a life size thing.
Well, he's an icon, that's for sure.
He was
He'll be
something,
back.
Sure. I mean, I grew up with Hulk.
It's a Hulk Hogan, you know.
Hulk, I
It's,
mean, he's iconic.
yeah,
Yes.
it's iconic.
You know.
He has surpassed that. He's on that different level of celebrity.
It obviously puts Shane in an uncomfortable position. I like this.
No,
I'm not going to press though, but I would assume he comes back one more time. I would just simply. We could talk about Trump, something less controversial.
What there's tons going on, and specifically, you know, we're talking about the Attitude Era and everything else, and you know, going back to the late '90s. I'm very happy to know that this Tuesday, SmackDown is celebrating its 1,000th episode. How about that?
That's amazing.
1,000th episode.
That is amazing.
The only other regularly scheduled show on cable TV that surpassed SmackDown is Monday Night Raw.
Right.
So we have
you hold the two spots.
We hold the two spots, and it's just going to continually grow because we're live, you know, every week.
I can't.
And that's when they bring back some of the old guys. So
And
maybe,
you'll see.
And maybe Hulk Hogan comes
Hey,
back.
like I say, anything can happen in WWE. But I mean, on that show specifically,
I'm watching.
It'll be
There'll be a lot of surprises.
The Undertaker will be there.
Yeah.
Already advertised. Evolution.
Yep.
So you remember it was an Evolution. Triple H, Dave Bautista, Randy Orton, and Ric Flair.
Wow.
That'll be cool. We have the return and
Can I
action.
stop you for a second?
Sure.
How's Ric Flair doing these days?
You know what? He's done an amazing turnaround.
No kidding. He was almost on his deathbed, and now fast forward, I think he got married like a month ago.
Yep. Crazy, right? I never forget one of Rick's tweets, tweet or Instagram. I forget what it was, and something along the lines of "Not dead yet, baby, woo!" It's like, you know, and that's just typical Rick. And I was like, "Good for you." I mean, all of us were scared to death for him.
Yeah.
And we're just like, "Oh my gosh!" But you know, he's turned that around, and you know, power to him. He's a tough dude.
He came back strong.
My favorite wrestler. Whatever happened to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat?
He was working with us on a agent or what we call a producer standpoint. What a phenomenal talent,
dude!
He was amazing.
I mean, I was a kid and I was like, "This dude's awesome."
Yeah, he was.
Like he's just so athletic. I remember.
I think he can do it now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when it's like Michael Jordan coming back. I think he can play now.
Right.
You know, Ricky was that special to watch.
He was my favorite. And I remember I had to wait because he didn't have a toy yet. You know what I mean? Like he was one of the few that I had to wait for the second generation to get the toy.
And
he finally got the toy.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah.
My sons love doing, you know, playing the WWE video game. And I'll walk in and they're kicking the crap out of me. Whoever they pick, they're beating me up.
Oh,
they're
they're
like, yes. And then my little guy Rogan's 8. He's like, come on, don't beat up Dad. You know, he's like, I'm like, that's my son. Come over here. You know,
Oh, that's awesome.
They kick the crap out
That
of
must
him.
make you happy though, man. I mean for them. I mean, you know what a rare thing to have your kids be WW fans and then you be part of it. That must be incredible.
Well, that's how you're kind of like a real life superhero.
Yeah.
So it's
And you only
it's really
got the
cool.
3 boys?
3 boys. Kept going for the girl, but 3 boys.
So you think one of them will go into the business to keep it going?
I don't know.
What's your gut saying so far, or is it too early to tell?
If they go in, I hope personally it would be more on the business end.
That's what I was getting at.
Just to
Because being a father, I can't imagine going to my son. All right, you know, get in there and mix it up.
Now you know how Dad felt when you were doing
I
it.
do. I'm starting to understand all that now. I'm just like, oof, you know. I'm like, it's no big deal. He's like, yeah, wait till you're dad. I was like, now I do.
Right. It sounds like you're the type of guy you wouldn't hold them back, but you're kind of secretly hoping inside maybe they go a different
Dads
direction.
know how to hold things back, you know. They make things sour.
My sons, all 3 of them are. They're wonderful kids, as I'm sure all dads will say, but they have that special it factor. They have large personalities. I mean, you should see them when they get in the ring just joking around when I take them to the shows. And, they're doing flips. They're doing stuff. And if you ever saw, my return was a couple of years ago in Dallas for WrestleMania when I took on The Undertaker.
Yeah. And you walked with them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to jump ahead, but that was an amazing moment. Walk us through that. Sorry.
So about 10 minutes before we went out, my wife Marissa brought the boys back and, had a little pep talk with them as I did earlier. And I said, hey guys, just want to ask you guys something. Would you guys want to come out with me? And they were like, what? Like, are you serious? I was like, oh yeah. I go, come on, you think you can handle it? I mean, it's only 103,000 people. I mean, you just want to come out?
It was electric, man.
It was awesome. So knowing that, I mean, talking about a highlight of my life, this is one of the highlights of my life. To be able, and once in a lifetime, true feeling. Came out, my music hits, I pop out, hit the shuffle and start, which is an homage to Muhammad Ali and Rocky Johnson. Yeah. Come out, do that, and then I say, wait a minute. And then out they come. And a lot of the fans have been seeing my sons, through Instagram and vignettes. They were my training partners getting ready. And they came out, and I was like, oh, my God, look at these guys. They took to it like it was a boy band, and we had rehearsed it. I was laughing.
Took the spotlight away from Dad.
Totally. I was just like,
right.
This is amazing.
Blood.
And it's so surreal because I'm like, I'm in my mind, I'm like, wow, I'm about to go get the crap beat out of me by The Undertaker. I'm going to go to war here in a minute. And then I'm sitting there just watching this and, looking at all the fans, and I'm so into watching them and the reaction. I was just like, I was so proud. And then they came down, and I dropped them off on the corner where my wife Marissa was, and what an amazing experience. Wow. And again, that's a highlight of my life to do that with them. That was really special.
And you turned at least one of them on to doing it as a profession now.
They talk about it. They talk about it. They love it. They do all type. They give me suggestions, and like, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna call Pop because that's what they call my dad. Yeah. I'm gonna call Pop because I think that was crap, or I love this thing and this is what they should do. And then they'll call Pop or text them.
They got it in their blood.
So
they're going to continue the family business.
They are. Yeah, that's probably.
I mean, because you guys want to keep it in the family, obviously.
Yep.
Would you?
Well, my sister has 3 girls.
She's got 3 girls. You got 3 boys.
3 boys.
I did not know that.
Girls. Yep.
I knew she had kids. I didn't know it was 3 girls.
And her husband's obviously Triple H.
Yeah.
Paul Levesque.
So who runs the company after the old man? Are you guys fighting for that yet?
No.
I'm kidding.
0. Wait, was it Dynasty? Going back. We could do our whole. We'll have a whole. Yeah, we'll have our whole new reality show. Who gets it?
They're tripping each other at family parties.
Awesome. We're plotting it. Bruce Pritchard is. Bruce is poisoning the punch.
I think I'll answer the question. There's plenty to go around.
Plenty.
It's a hell of an empire. What happened? Beers? Now we're drinking beers?
I'm in.
All right.
The beauty of the WWE business is you can continually build your storyline and your champion.
Right.
Whereas if you have the hottest champ of all time and all of a sudden he gets knocked out, you're like, oof, by someone who no one else wants to see.
Yeah.
Like that
can't. Just happened. That literally just happened.
What, with Khabib?
With McGregor and
no,
Khabib?
Khabib's got some
Khabib.
No, but I mean,
he's got
McGregor's larger than life.
Yeah,
but then the fight's like, oh.
But Khabib's 27-0.
Yeah, we'll see.
You want to see your champ fight a little harder than that? Like, it sucked. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like,
You thought
I
the
didn't
fight
enjoy
sucked?
that fight.
Wow.
Oh my God!
I
Really?
didn't enjoy it for all the shit talking McGregor did. I thought he was going to fight harder than that.
It was the first pay-per-view I bought in about a year. I was buying all of them for a while.
The fight
I was
before
on my feet like 2 inches from the TV going, holy shit, as loud as I can, as my in-laws were, visiting for my daughter's birthday party. And that's how the night ended. We all watched the fight. Shane, help me out. That thing was insane.
It was late. I was probably drunk.
So you didn't enjoy it?
Maybe
I thought, I really enjoyed the fight. Right. I thought McGregor did an excellent job, especially on his takedown defense, because he's not known for that. He's learned a lot. I don't think people give McGregor enough props because that guy works extremely hard.
Right.
Did a lot to, take away the takedown, was stuffing Khabib is a badass wrestler. Yeah. McGregor stuffed him a lot, kept him away. The mistake, and you can always look at hindsight, it's 2020, is McGregor should have let his hands fly a lot more to keep Khabib on the outside.
Right.
And that was the traditional boxer versus wrestler. But McGregor landed some big shots. But, you have to also give kudos to Khabib. I mean, he's a badass. Got in there, did exactly what he said he was going to do. Just tied McGregor up and then just ground
squeezing those legs.
That's it.
Where Conor McGregor can't get loose.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
That's just a tie-up.
I usually hate when they go to the ground.
Right, but you can see why.
I loved that.
Because McGregor was larger than life. I mean,
he still is.
Talk about a guy that was able to
he did well
from a street kid just to spin that all the way up there.
I loved how he handled it on Instagram. He wrote something like, "Good knock. I look forward to the rematch."
Yeah.
It's more than a knock. That thing was crazy. So obviously you're an expert promoter. How do you handle this now? You got two guys that everybody wants to see fight again. The UFC understands how much money that would mean, but they have to do the right thing. They're officially suspended. But how do you work yourself out of that bind, being the owner of the company?
Well, they have a bigger hiccup, and their hiccup is they're regulated by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. So if it was a private company, you wouldn't have to. You can do pretty much what you want and levy massive fines and suspensions for a little while, whatever you would think appropriate. The one big issue, looking at it, whether you have Nevada State Athletic Commission or not, is the safety of the crowd. That was unfortunately a huge no-no. What happened, and when it spills out into the crowd and potentially people get hurt, now you're totally crossing the line on that. And that's something that they have to fine, or whatever the punitive damages are going to be. I don't know what that is. I'm sure they're obviously trying to figure that out as we speak. That's really the major issue. Is you've got to really protect your fan base, because no one's going to go. I mean, you're not going to get. I saw a quick clip of, I think Matt Damon was in the crowd. He's not going. With his wife, if something like that can happen.
Right.
So you got to again get to the safety of the patrons.
Well, they could take a page from the WWE.
Well,
back in the day,
we go in the crowd still.
No.
Different.
You got to help me out. What year it was? I think it was after the Super Bowl. It was a big match for the title, and it was in an empty arena.
Was it a halftime show,
or was it a halftime show?
I believe
halftime.
It
maybe.
Was. We had Sunday Night Heat, which was on USA.
Yeah,
that was one of our shows, and that's what we did in an empty arena. Remember that?
I thought that was a brilliant idea.
But it was cool because they're like, listen, you got to watch a halftime show, which wasn't as grand as it is now.
Yeah.
Or you can watch this amazing match.
Yeah. And they're fighting in front of nobody. Yeah. It was an empty arena. So when this whole Khabib Conor McGregor went down, I was thinking about what you guys did, and I'm like, could you imagine Dana White figures it out? Like, look, we can't risk the crowd getting involved because Khabib is, he's not rational. He could easily jump in the crowd again, no problem. Imagine if they did that, where it's the rematch is in front of nobody, but it's televised on pay-per-view.
We'd all pay to see it.
How insane would that be?
It's a good idea. I'm sure Dana's listening.
Yeah, and then Khabib basically said that he was going to give the $2 million back that he made. He's pissed.
You know what? This guy, and you can fault him for getting out there, but this guy is truly sticking with his guns. That he's been disrespected, and where he is from, you don't do that. You don't say anything about religion, parents, anything about your family members, and obviously Conor crossed the line on all that stuff.
Right,
that's what he does.
But he created hype. He created buzz and pay-per-view stuff.
He was pushing whiskey in front of him. He's got a new whiskey company, and at one of the press conferences, dude, he's a Muslim though. Could you imagine how fucking crazy you have to be to take that chance to promote a fight? He's pushing whiskey at him.
I'm going to tell you, there's one thing I love is Conor. He knows how to drum up some interest.
Well, Khabib's sitting there like, I don't drink, man, and he was trying to be cool, but all this was sinking in, and when that fight was over, it was like he had to let all that energy go.
I enjoyed the whole blow up at the end. I loved it. I thought it was, it short term.
It was interesting.
Sucks.
I don't drink either.
Yeah.
Well, no, what's funny about that? The next day, everyone, and I think Dana White said it, and maybe even Joe Rogan, my old pal there, saying this is one of the worst nights in UFC history. You ask any fan of the UFC, it was one of the best nights in UFC history because of how insane it was.
But you got to understand what they're coming from. Also, they're fighting for legitimacy since they started.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because they're people. Old
their
boxing
their
people
biggest
always
issue
running
is
their
liability.
Liability, right?
That's that from when you get big, as the UFC has, it's liability from a company standpoint. Right. That's all your sponsors, all of the things you've busted your ass and worked so hard for. Is now, do certain people pull out because of that?
Right.
Is that a huge black eye that way? And everyone is, in that organization, has worked very hard to get it to where it is. So, in my view, that's where it would be, the most detrimental if something like that went down. That's what they're thinking.
That. Yeah, I understand that. But you think they'll figure it out with the athletic commission out there in Nevada?
I think so.
Let me tell you something about Nevada. No, everything gets figured out in the desert, one way or another.
No, I mean the good thing is
that's what I'm getting at. But they all have to save face and do it.
But I don't believe anybody. I don't believe any patrons got hurt.
No.
So therefore, that's a huge pass to start. If people got trampled on or hurt, or God forbid, somebody fell down, broke their ankle, there was a kid there, or somebody hit a woman, or that would just shut so many things down.
Yeah, of course.
So it didn't. So luck was on their side. So now it just gets into, again, the fundamentals of what are the punitive damages. I'm sure it could be worked out. And I kind of like your idea because I would pay to see it again. I just want to see the two go at it.
Well, it's all about the pay-per-view, so they don't really need a live audience if it comes down to it.
That sucked, man. But I enjoyed it.
All the fights were great.
Oh, that guy that
the last 3 fights were amazing.
You enjoyed that part. You said you didn't like the fight, though. Maybe you were drinking. I'm just
going to go shock, but I like the melee at the end.
Yeah, okay.
The melee was good, and I think I was coming off the other guy that knocked that one guy out cold after losing almost the whole fight. What's the big? What's his name?
The Beast.
Yeah,
the Beast.
Yeah,
that was. So I'm kind of like
Lewis, right?
Yeah. So I'm watching this guy. I'm like, this guy's running out of wind, and all of a sudden, it's one of those classic just. Knocked him out, one shot.
Dude, I thought the most classic line after was Lewis.
My balls
My balls are hot.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off?
My balls was hot.
I understand.
I forgot a few hours before the fight, Donald Trump called me and told me I got knocked this Russian motherfucker out because they making him look bad on the news. Him and Putin and shit. Fuck what they talking about. USA and his whole. Fuck.
Because Rogan's like, why are you taking your pants off? He goes, my balls are hot.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
That guy shot the stardom immediately.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, totally. But the other one was, he said, yes. He said, man, I'm exhausted. My ass has got to go do some cardio.
I need to sit my black ass down and do some more cardio. Fuck what you talking about right now. I ain't trying to fight for no title right now. Not with no gas tank like that. Shit.
Yeah. I was like, this guy's real.
Yeah.
I
He's
love
like, don't talk to me about no title fight.
Yeah.
My black ass has to go do some cardio.
Cardio.
I loved it.
I mean, he's got a huge personality, but he wasn't the better fighter. I mean, in the end, he was because he won the fight, but he was
that one shot knockout. People love watching.
No
that.
kidding,
That's
man.
it. But that's what happens in the heavyweights.
That's what people like. That's why I used to love heavyweight fights, and that's why people love Tyson. I mean, the fight itself wasn't fun, but just to see someone's head get knocked off.
He just
What
murdered.
about
people.
the Tyson melee back in the day?
Oh, remember
They
that?
had a big one.
Yeah.
So this isn't the first time. Yeah, I like the UFC though. It's all right. Dude, the helicopter crash. Holy fuck.
A helicopter forced to land on the water off Long Island's South Shore, but thanks to fast action from kayakers and emergency responders at Gilgo Beach, a pilot and passenger, a WWE star, are safe tonight.
That was last July, right? A year ago already.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Interesting. It was interesting.
Could you walk us through that?
Sure.
I figured I'd wait for the beer to get here before I ask you that question, because that's heavy, man, being a father and all that shit.
Listen, it's one of those things where, again, very lucky, and everything that could have gone right did. So I was going out. I was going out to see my family out in Amagansett, and my kids were in camp, and they had this, they had a big skit day. So I was like, all right, I can't miss this. I had to do something in the city, and the only way for me to get there was a Friday. I was just like, forget it. So let me just fly out. So flew out, taking off, flying out there, and we're about halfway, and all of a sudden I hear this boom. We're like, what the fuck? The pilot went whoop. I was like, I look up, because it was loud. I mean, it was like a major it sounded like a huge gunshot. It was like, it's like, what on earth? And then I see the pilot freak out, and all of a sudden he hits the call button, Mayday, Mayday, chopper, blah, blah, blah. We're going into the Atlantic. I reached over, I was like, seatbelt. I swear to God.
That's it.
Because literally, it's going to sound weird, but I was, I didn't have my kids there, so I was very calm. And because, I'm not going to die in this helicopter. There's no way. I got 3 kids, got my wife. There's absolutely no way. I don't know about him, the pilot, but I know I'm going to make it.
It was just you two, right?
Just us two. I know I'm going to make it. So I'm already preparing, and I'm looking, and he's freaking out a little bit. He did an amazing job, the pilot. I go, what can I do to help you? He goes, press this button. I go, no problem. Press this button, no problem. Doing whatever. So Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. So he goes, all right, we have
You're
to.
in the front seat.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
So we're riding right next to him. So he goes, all right, we got to disengage the clutch. We're going to fall. I went, okay, because that's the safety mechanism in a helicopter. You know those tops when we were kids, you put them in your hands and they go up and they come down?
Yeah.
So basically, when the engine stops, you have to pull the clutch, and then the wind will allow you to kind of drift, if you will, coming down. So you have some type of control. Not great. So it's all wind propelling coming up. But the only reason it's working is because you're falling at such a rapid rate.
Yeah.
So once you pull that, it was like, whoo, that sinking feeling you get in a roller coaster?
Yeah.
So it was like, cocoon, and then we dropped. And we were, I don't know, I think we were about a mile up, or close to it. So we were up there. And I was looking, I was like, man, and I surf a lot.
What kind of chopper was it?
I don't know the name of it.
Was it like a big one, a little one?
It was a medium.
Medium one, all right.
It was just me. I was like, what the hell, and just fly out there. So we start dropping. I'm like, wow. And again, because I surf a lot, I'm looking, we're right on the reef,
Right.
I'm like, because we're far out. I'm like, not super far. I'm like, all right. And I'm like, oh, man, I know what's going to happen. So we're going to sink to the bottom. This is what's going through my mind.
Right.
And, I know enough where don't open the windows, don't do anything, and then you're going to flip over because it's heavy.
Right.
And the propellers will go down, so you'll be upside down, submerged. I said, son of a bitch, if I make it out of here and do all this stuff, which I'm going to, if a shark bites me, okay, because that's where the big fishies are. Yeah. That's where the biggies are.
That's where they are.
I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, nothing you can do about that. So that was going through my head. But anyway, it was one of those days where no wind. The ocean happened to be like a lake at that time. And out of the entire fleet of helicopters, this is the only one that had pontoons. So it was literally divine intervention.
Wow.
And so he says, all right, we're going to hit, we're going to do some wheelie move. I said, do whatever you got to do, buddy. So we came in, basically at the last second, did a big tail rotate. I think the tail hit the water, and then we flew forward, up against the glass, and then rocked back. I look over, I was like, good job. And we're just sitting there, floating. So it was pretty
And you just stayed in the chopper.
Yeah, then the Coast Guard came, and actually a lot of guys, the first guys out were
the fishermen,
lifeguards.
Oh, lifeguards.
Lifeguards were on the beach, and they saw the whole thing. And I'm sorry that I'm forgetting their names at the moment, but they were super nice. They came out on their kayaks. To like, hey man, let's go. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting out of here. I said, no problem. So I jump in one of the kayaks, and start going. And then the Coast Guard came. We got on that boat. I said, I'll take the bigger boat. Went to the Coast Guard station, and there was all the media there. I mean, because obviously it hit pretty fast. And I was like, huh. So once I got in the boat, I was like, do I tell Marissa? Or because
your poor wife.
So, she didn't know. I'm just like, I was like, I better. So I call her. I'm like, hi, just let you know, I'm gonna miss skit day. I'm sorry. And she's like, oh, really? Because she's thinking traffic. I didn't leave in time. I was like, yeah. I said, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to make it. She goes, what time did you get there? I go, I don't know that yet. She goes, what do you mean? Typical.
Yeah.
And I said, well, just let you know, I'm fine, but we went down in the helicopter in the ocean. She's like, what? I was like, we went down. It's okay. I just want to let you know because there's a lot of media here. If there was no media, I wasn't going to tell her.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say anything. And she's like, oh my God, and then obviously the story continues on. So anyway, it was just a very, very lucky day. And a good thing I did, because she told the kids right away, and then Declan, my eldest, had ESPN radio on. All of a sudden, Shane McMahon, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Right away,
it was
man.
all over.
It was.
So I'm glad I told her, and she didn't find out that way, because oh my God, I would have been killed.
But imagine you're hanging out at the mall, like,
yeah,
you were in a fucking helicopter accident.
Yeah. That's it. I would have been killed in my kitchen, but not in a helicopter.
Exactly.
My wife's Sicilian. I'd be like,
What I love is that you at no point you thought you were going to die.
You know what? And I don't. This is not a bragging thing.
No,
this is not. Thanks. This is not. No, I've been very lucky in my life. I've been in several situations where I should not be here, and this is one of them. But I am absolutely. I have responsibilities, and I was not dying.
That's all. I mean,
there's no way.
I've always thought I was going to die in situations like.
Oh, really?
Like I was in an airplane and lost an engine. And I was like, boom, I'm like, goodbye, everybody. Wrap it up. Call my wife. I always hated you. Let's go. And we survived.
Get this done.
Yeah, wrap it up.
It was raining. Pussy, I'd get hit with a dick, man. That's my luck, man.
I was just picturing most wives that would be in the situation with Shane would be like, yeah, sure, you were in a helicopter accident.
Yeah, that's what my wife. Is that what you call whores now? Helicopters?
What's her name?
What's her real name? Helicopter my ass.
Give me a break.
Wah, helicopter.
Was the pilot like calm or did he lose his shit?
He was awesome. Obviously nervous.
Yeah, because he's crashing just like you.
We're going down.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
At that point, everyone's a human being.
Yeah.
But his name was Mario, and he did a phenomenal job. And really saved us, with the landing and how we did it. Because, easily, if you went in sideways, you hit, even though the propellers aren't running by the engine, they're still spinning by the wind. So that could have shattered and came through. There's immense amount of things that could have gone wrong. And, unfortunately, you hear all about so many crashes that happen all the time, and the result is not a good one.
Did you give him a little gift? After the fact?
No.
A little popcorn tin or something?
No, we just, afterwards, again, we're at the Coast Guard station, and I said, obviously I thanked him, and then it's like, all right, I got to get the
it's skid day. It's skid day.
And they said, all right, well, just there's another helicopter if you want to go. I was like, perfect. So I got in another helicopter.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You're that guy.
30 minutes later, I got in another helicopter, or an hour later, and then I flew. In, and I did miss skid day.
But I'm with you, man. What are the odds?
Yeah. I was like, again? I'm like, come on.
Well, if you didn't think you were going to die when it was crashing, you're not going to think you're going to die when it's flying.
Yeah. Well, this specific thing, again, we were over water. I mean, if we were over land, it would have been far worse.
Right.
Because then,
it's
those landings are way harder.
Does that hit you ever in the last year? Do you think about it?
Again, I've been through, unfortunately.
What's another one? You keep hinting.
Yeah, no, I've been through a couple.
Give us
helicopter crashes?
No, just one of those.
Oh yeah.
No, other things that I'm just lucky to be here. So.
What is the story
There's
there,
no story.
Carl?
I'm sure. I mean, motorcycles or
probably a motorcycle.
Or dump a bike. They get scary.
I have a bike.
Yeah.
You've dumped a bike?
I dumped a Ducati 916 at about 100 miles an hour.
Oh,
that did not feel good.
Road rash?
Well, everything was going fine until my shoulder hit the curb.
Ooh,
just broke everything.
Oh, nice.
It sucked.
Did you get it fixed?
Yeah. Barely, but we put it together. Some duct tape.
Some duct tape, dirt.
When you fall on a bike, it's just you don't realize how fast you're going until you're on the ground. It feels like you go faster the minute you hit that.
Sure.
But the thing what saved me is I had full leathers on and a good helmet and
that's smart.
Good boots. I saw a kid get decapitated once driving in Connecticut. Got a GSXR 750. The kid was, more bike than brains.
There's no recovery from that.
No.
No.
And he passed us. We were 10 of us on bikes, and he brand new Gixxer.
Was he with you guys?
Yeah, he was part of the group.
Oh, part of the group.
And he high-sided. He went too fast down a corner, and he high-sided, and it slammed him between the two guardrails and cut his head off.
Wow.
That was it.
Nice.
And the chopper guy, they brought the medevac, and it's funny. The medevac was. The cops weren't communicating. It was state police and regular police. It was a when someone's head's off, there's a lot of miscommunication with what's going on.
Sure.
And I couldn't get to the kid, but I knew he was dead. When the chopper was coming down, they waved him off, and the medevac just.
Oh, you didn't see the head? He's just.
I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Why? You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah, of
funny.
course.
Like, I knew the kid. I didn't want to see it.
Yeah,
but
it's
after
terrible
that,
experience.
I always rode, fully dressed, like they
It's
say.
smart.
Because it's so easy. My friend would come home. He's like, I'm like, you're on a bike with stupid shoes, and ripped his whole heel off for a little accident.
Mm-hmm.
So. That's what saved my life.
I was in a mini bike accident when I was 12.
Mini bike, nice.
And that was it. No, that was it. To this
Jesus.
day, I can't get it on anything with 2 fucking wheels.
Why? Well, I can build you one.
I got nervous on
trike.
I got nervous on a moped in Nantucket. I was still feeling the effects 20 years later.
we can build you one. I'm affiliated with a bike company, Indian Larry Motorcycles.
Indian Larry, right?
Beautiful bikes.
Do you guys know Bobby? Have you met Bobby? They met Bobby? They don't
Mike's
met
trying
Bobby.
to get me down there. Tell me about Indian Larry, man.
So it's obviously Indian Larry. It was named after Indian Larry,
Which was one of the coolest New Yorkers in the history of New Yorkers.
very cool. So
What makes him so cool? I don't
He was
know.
a custom bike builder, and it was just he just really evoked a cool rebellious attitude in an era, and it's that nature that carried on, through. Unfortunately, he passed.
Yeah.
And so tried to keep the company alive and doing that. And so through partners, Bobby and Elisa Seeger, who have really been working hard on the brand, trying to keep that alive and move forward with that. So,
Great bikes.
Yeah,
Cool
they're full.
bikes, man.
So for your edification, it's custom bikes, and it's similar to a Harley style or a V-twin, if you will.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah, I hate motorcycles.
Yeah.
Doing a stunt, too. That's what's ironic about you guys talking about motorcycles.
Jesus, Mikey, get on a fucking microphone, please.
What was his? What was the stunt that took him out?
I wasn't there. He was in North Carolina, and he was racing all day. So he was in his full leathers and everything, and he's like, "Oh, it was awesome." And then he took his leathers off, and he had lost so much water. He just dehydrated. So he got on his normal road bike, just going to ride down the street a little bit, and he used to do this thing where he used to stand on the seat in the tank. Did it a million times. Lost control, just got a little wobbly. And suppose he was only going about 15 miles an hour. Unfortunately, hit his head, and that was it.
Oh, my
Just really a
It's
freak.
that simple.
Freak thing. He just
Yeah,
a freak
that's a
thing.
shame.
That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that.
Hell of a New Yorker, though.
Yeah, I never heard of him before, Indian Larry.
Well, because you drove a scooter around.
Well,
no one in the
Only
scooter.
in Nantucket.
Yeah, no one in the Nantucket scooter squad's talking about Indian Larry.
No, I don't think so.
You want to hear how stupid
With the
I was?
whale pants and everything.
I don't wear whale pants.
Beep, beep, beep.
Come on.
Going apple picking. Beep,
Oh,
beep.
Yeah.
It's like Shane's getting comfortable now.
And your dockers.
yeah,
what are they? The docksiders. That's
The
it.
dockside. The
My
Sperry's,
salmon,
the little,
my salmon red.
yeah, little sweater tied around his neck. Beep, beep. I'm gonna
That's
sit
me.
on the seat.
Yeah, call me Chad.
Chad from Tuck.
No, man, I was game for mini bikes, and then that might have led to motorcycles. But I was at in the playground at Washington Drive School, and Harry Flood had a mini bike that he built, and he
A
goes,
raging 2.5 horsepower
like
brick and
probably
strap.
Lawnmower motor,
Yeah,
right?
2.5
And he
horse
goes-
at best.
And I go, I want to try that. He goes, hey, kid, you know how to ride a mini bike? I go, yeah, I do. And the throttle, I thought was the brake.
Oh, jeez.
I was never on one. I was 12 at the time. Give me a 12, 13. So I was going too fast, and I kept hitting the throttle, going faster and faster. I didn't know how to stop the fucking thing.
Right.
And I was in pure panic mode, and I dumped it in the woods, which was a sticker bush.
So you drove a
And
2
then-
horsepower machine into the bush.
Yeah, and then I had to run home because our house was close to Washington Drive School at the time, and I broke the front window of the door to get inside because I was bleeding profusely. And then I got probably close to 100 stitches.
Oh, you know,
Really?
And then
from breaking the door.
no, I had a cut all the way through my nose, my eyelid, and a huge gash in my top of my head.
From going into a sticker bush.
I was flying, man. For real. For real. I was
Shane
flying.
can't even look at you.
I was flying.
Hey, it happens. You could go, but that thing probably went 20 miles an hour. 20 miles an hour through a sticker bush. It hurts. If you just get thrown in a sticker bush, it hurts.
I love that the guy that fell out of the air in a helicopter is trying to apologize for you. Shane's literally looking at you with the microphone like, this is bullshit.
But if my memory serves me, I would have sworn I was going like 50 miles an hour. I was probably going 20 miles an hour.
Not
maybe.
even.
Not even.
I said
Really?
Back then,
It was
full
a small
acceleration.
little
Yeah,
fucking...
maybe 12 to 15 miles.
Oh,
an hour.
that's embarrassing, man. But anyway, that was it, though. I never got into it. I took one more bike ride when I was in college, and the guy decided, he knew I was scared, and decided to go 100 miles an hour on a country road. I was...
Oh, my God.
Wait, you're on the back?
You're riding, bitch.
No, I was
Stop talking about bikes.
Stop. Just go back to the pricker bush.
Yeah.
Sticker bush.
Stop. You're hugging some dude.
Yeah,
You're going 100.
Wow.
I didn't say I was hugging him.
Oh.
Were your legs wrapped around? Do they have foot pegs or?
This is the worst. Oh, you got a
Jesus.
reverse boner on this dude's back.
I wasn't.
Did you pee on his back?
Oh God! Like Dumb and Dumber. Remember when they got off? Just go, man. I gotta go. Just go.
Did you have your hands interlocked?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, Opie's leopard G-string is showing because his butt's all...
I'm trying to share with you fucking guys.
He's got his tramp
Please
stamp
don't share.
out.
Don't share the leopard G-string.
My
G-string.
Awesome.
Point being, scared shitless ever since, unfortunately. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but...
It's good. Well, stay off them.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
get off those scooters and stop driving on the back of bikes. Dude.
Well, I talked to a lot of the guys for the X Games, and maybe you could help me with this a little bit. I asked those guys if they ride bikes on the regular highways and stuff. They're like, I'm not fucking crazy enough to do that. They're like, the shit they do at the X Games is insane. And these same guys, a lot of them are like, I don't fucking ride a bike out there on the regular roads just because of everybody else, obviously. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, that's one. Is the other people, which is really dangerous. And the other is it's not a track condition, so you don't know what's going to be out there.
Right.
There could be sand, there could be oil, there could be a spill, it could be. So you don't know. Our shop's in Brooklyn, and we always go out and we kind of push the envelope a little bit, where I used to.
Right.
Definitely used to. Marissa, I used to push the envelope, and I don't do that anymore. So back in the day, we would, to clarify, we would, the traffic is insane on the BQE, and we just right down.
That's awesome.
Right down the middle.
But it's
Right.
it's a rush, the BQE.
It's a rush, dude. You gotta really know what you're doing. You gotta know how to ride.
Yeah.
But it can make your sphincter pucker a little bit when you pinball off a couple. You
hit a couple, you touch a couple
you're just
cars.
like, woohoo!
That was close.
And you're like, wow.
Yeah.
No fear, huh?
You can.
Oh, you're scared. When I used to ride fast on my bike, I was scared, and it let me have attention. You know what I mean? Like every time I got lazy,
pumping.
every time I got lazy and thought I could do something, I'd either dump the bike or make a stupid mistake or lock up the front or
Right.
I had a race bike. That bike, especially a Ducati 916, was probably their first super bike. So it really wasn't all figured out,
Yeah.
It had like the first year with Olin shock. This is like nerd stuff, but
No, that's cool.
the rebounds were off. Everything was weird. It was a V-twin, so I had all the power down low, nothing up. It was just the bike didn't work, for the street. It was just pure track bike, so I would get into a lot of trouble with it.
So going back to it, the best thing is you take those bikes, and I've actually been thinking about doing a Ducati for the track.
Right.
Just because I like to go really fast, and
They're the best in the business, man.
But you have to, you should be fully race leathers, everything, protect yourself as much as possible. And
What's the fastest you've gone on a bike? Marissa, earmuffs.
No, earmuffs. So I can say earmuffs, and you can say blank, blank, blank. That was the best.
Earmuffs.
It's cool. She ain't listening now. Good job.
Thank you. Earmuffs.
Part of my issue is back then, back in the day again.
Long time ago.
Whatever bike I would be on, I would just hammer the throttle till it wouldn't go any faster.
Wow.
So I can't tell you exactly, but it's been north of 180.
Wow.
I went one.
What does that feel like?
It's
Fucking
you're
scary.
moving, man. It's like
it-
a supersonic Pac-Man. It's like everything is flying.
Is it just a shot of adrenaline though, or are you feeling like alive?
Yeah, the adrenaline's the whole. I mean, your adrenal glands are dumping.
Yeah,
they're dumping at that point because you know that
there's no turning back.
You're cheating death.
Wow.
You know you're cheating death.
Wow.
That may be one of the
Oh,
stories.
so
that could be one of the stories.
I figured as much.
That
I
could
wasn't
be
going to
one.
push you on
That
it.
could be, yes, you are. That's your
I'd
job.
rather push you on the Hulk Hogan thing, coming back for SmackDowns.
I still want to know. Did you ride on the
1000th
back?
episode, huh?
Did you ride on the back of that motorcycle more than once, Opie?
Oh God, no.
Listen, I can't get past it. There's certain things that just stop me.
No, he was.
Were you guys like friends or?
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
He worked at the bar I worked at.
Oh, no. My
it's
God.
getting worse.
Why is that
It's
worse?
getting
Oh my
worse.
God.
Why is that
It was a drunk interlude.
Oh my God. You were drunk?
Oh,
What'd you tell him?
God.
God, you look like Tom Cruise in Cocktail. Next thing you know, you're in the back of the bike.
Yeah, that's what
Hey
happened.
man, can I have a ride? Yeah, jump on the back and hug me. Snuggle up.
The bar just closed, and we had nothing else to do.
Closing time.
Closing.
Oh my God! Don't tell me you were a last call bitch on a bike.
It was a sunny fucking day.
It was nice and sunny next morning.
Oh, he was giving
I'll never forget it. What I was wearing.
I'll never forget.
He was wearing chaps and nothing else.
I
It
was wearing my
amazing.
ass's chaps, my new Prince shirt.
The real story's boring. He was giving all of us rides because he was showing off, and I was being a pussy.
What jail's he in now?
I was being a pussy. No, I think he's dead. I lost track of him, but I believe he's no longer with us. But
once you guys broke up,
and
downward spiral.
I think it was from cancer, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But I was being a little bitch.
Oh, it's snot coming out. That's nice. Get a napkin.
It was in the back. It was on the back road.
It's in your mustache. Don't worry about it. Save that for later.
It was on the back roads of Geneseo where I went to college, and I was being a bitch as he's giving everyone else rides, and then everyone fucking pressured me into it, knowing that I kind of have a fear of bikes. And then this guy knew that and decided to really fucking get me scared.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the real story.
I remember once being in Brooklyn on the back of a motorcycle, and I had to hug the guy, and he was going really fast down 18th Avenue, but I was hanging out with a friend of mine, and it was time for his dad to take me home. I was 12. Jesus, Ope.
You can act like a man! What's the matter with you?
Where you at with politics? Does the whole family like Trump?
Well, my mom's in his cabinet.
I know
You
that. That's why I'm
All
asking.
right.
Of course I know
I
that.
remember when your mom ran in Connecticut for the first time.
Yes.
Right.
I think. I mean, I hate people. Like I really do. I really do. Like the way they treated her, like the local media and shit was bullshit. You know what I mean? It's just like you don't know. It's so weird. Like you're like, this is a normal person.
But are you
like, with a family, and
surprised?
It treats you like a monster.
I'm not surprised. The one thing that
Your mom didn't deserve that. That's what I mean
Yeah,
by
that's
that.
what I'm
But
saying,
I'm
like-
not surprised. They're all a bunch of assholes.
That is really what having experienced it from a family level.
Right.
It is really difficult. My dad's a different story. He's been a public figure, etc.
Right.
Someone says something about my dad, I'm like, whatever, rolls
Right.
off my back. But when someone I was with my mom would come at my mom, I'm like, dude, I go, that's my mother.
I
You're like,
know.
hey, yo, like I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you better back the fuck off. Like
Right.
instantly, I get my, and I don't react well to negativity, especially against my mom.
Who does? I mean,
I'll be
it's-
like, "It's my mom. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna rip your throat out of your body."
Exactly.
You have to be careful. But the really how they, the dirty aspects of politics, specifically of when you're in those races. Wow,
I know.
they go for the jugular on anything they can possibly get.
there's
Whether
no rules for engagement. It's just
zero.
Yeah.
Whether you did something or didn't do something, or you may have said something 30 years ago, whatever it is, they use any little nugget they can to go after it.
Yeah.
So that's the one unfortunate aspect of it, because some people, like my mother, truly should be
Right.
in office. And the reason is because they truly want to do better.
Right.
For the country, for themselves, for etc. My mom thinks it's an honor to be there.
Right.
And she's
serving the country.
She's in a great role
Right.
because she's really bipartisan. Everyone wants small business to work, so she's in an excellent spot. And again, on both sides. But But how nasty some of that stuff is, as we were just talking, it's like, wow, it is.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, I watch the politics and stuff, and I hear like these politicians going after other politicians, and I'm like, this stuff doesn't matter in anybody's real life. Like, this person didn't pay this toll or pay. I'm like, nobody cares about this. Only when you're running for a race, it's like, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever
dig
heard.
up whatever they can.
But they don't care who they hurt. But they don't care that this is a family or that this person might have kids.
No.
That they might hear this later. Like, it's complete craziness.
Yeah.
And then what happens is real people don't want to be politicians anymore because no one wants to go through that.
Right.
So you get more shit. So it's like only people that are snakes end up being in politics because people that actually want to do well, I'm like, I'm not going to put my son through this or my daughter. And then you lose good people, and that's how you end up.
Well, because the good people become CEOs of companies, and because that's an easier life.
Right, but they could, a lot of these people would jump in and help the government because they have real experience, with companies and people. But who's going to run now with?
But with that said, Shane's mom handled herself very well.
Yeah.
So
I'm a fan.
Do you have a good Trump story?
No, not really. We have, we've known him
for a long time.
Yeah, because he was involved with WrestleMania.
Right.
It was cool. Yeah, you were referring to the picture. So we got to, the boys, specifically mine. We were all there collectively, and I think Declan asked. He goes, "Hey, can I sit in your chair?" I was like, "Oh my god,
that's awesome!"
In the Oval Office,
right?
And he was. President Trump was very gracious enough to say, "Absolutely, sat in the chair." I mean, that's pretty cool.
That's cool, man.
I mean, for me, I had never gone to the White House, and you always see it in movies and TV shows and the Oval Office, and you think about the history, and that's really what was going through my mind of, wow, through the annals of time, the history that has happened in this very room.
Craziness.
Really deciding the future of other countries and our own. It was very
surreal, probably
very surreal, and I was just like, wow,
that's a great picture. The whole family in the Oval. Look at Triple H, my old friend Triple H.
You don't get along with him?
I love Triple H.
Oh, okay.
No, we go way back when he was spanking peaches.
Oh.
And I love bringing it up to him. He's like, he loved coming on our show. That's a hell of a brother-in-law you got there.
That's fun.
No, we had this girl Peaches, and we're like, come on, Triple H, go ahead. And he left a handprint on her. And I never let it go. He finds it funny to this day when we see him, but whatever. I think we did it, Shane, unless you want to give us some big scoop.
What kind of motorcycle was this guy on?
I honestly don't know.
Was it, what color? Was it purple?
It was, it was lavender.
I'm going to ride Opie on this forever, literally.
I'm just being honest.
I'm going to rent the motorcycle, and then we're going to go.
But
let's go down to Indian Larry. We'll go to home. We'll get some barbecue. There's great barbecue down there.
I can't imagine getting on a motorcycle.
No, you hug me tight, and I'll give you a ride.
No, seriously. At least do it right. Let's get a sidecar.
Yes, Opie in a sidecar.
Okay,
with,
now that
with the goggles and the old school helmet.
Exactly. Yes.
With the
far
fringe
better.
leather.
Far better.
Yeah.
The sidecar. Come on.
I'll go in the sidecar, but you're not dressing me up, asshole.
Yeah, you're totally dressing up.
I'll go sidecar.
Big vineyard vines, pink sweater.
No, the sidecar. I thought that was a good option. I'm trying to look out for you because you can't pull up to our shop riding on the back.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. And then we'll tie you like a helium balloon so we can see if you get lost or if you fall off. We can find you in the woods in the sticker bush.
That'd be all right.
That'd be all right.
Bringing it back. Bring it all back.
Bring it all the way back.
You know what? Let me tell you. All jokes aside, I was on the sidecar in an old Indian.
It's probably scary.
Holy shit.
Okay, that's what I would assume.
Sidecars. Let me tell you something. They're scary.
You're so close to the ground.
Not
at that point.
If the guy knows what he's doing, which he did, he had a 48 Chief, with a beautiful bike, man. And he had a sidecar, and the guy was crazy. He owns two of them. He restores them, and he took a turn and he lifted me right up in the air. So it's like a carnival ride. I'm in the air on this old creek, and it's old, and you feel going.
You feel him going like this,
and the bike's all
shaking it, right? Trying to make the turn.
Yeah, trying to make the turn, and I'm in the air going around a turn.
Fuck that.
Go a little too fast. Too fast.
He's like, sorry,
lean.
that went in a little hot.
Yeah, lean.
Yeah, lean. It's like you're on a sailboat. It was crazy. Sidecars, because you have no control.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't realize, like, why? Why does it have a hold-on bar here, here, and here? And you realize in a second.
You learn
like,
really fast.
You learn really fast.
Man. Anything else, Shane? Give us a scoop.
No, that was pretty
Give
much
us
it.
one scoop.
That was the scoop.
Which scoop?
The scoop. We're bringing back old school. You got to watch.
I got him.
SmackDown 1000th episode.
Hulk Hogan.
Oh,
Coming back Tuesday.
That's your prediction. Huh?
Yes, it is.
All right.
I think it's time.
All right.
He did his time. Come on. He's got one. Oh, Ronda Rousey.
Yep.
Are you guys surprised how well she's doing?
Not at all.
Really?
You could tell a star when you see one.
Yeah,
I knew she was a star when I saw her in Entourage.
No, hear me out. I knew she had that part of it, but I mean the actual skills. She's pretty impressive in there.
Very much so. I mean, she had obviously a lot of skills from her MMA background, her judo background, and she's adapted very well to us. It's funny how, and the story was told to me through Triple H, that Ronda had always had aspirations to be in the WWE. So she watched as a kid. She's a fan, and then she went the MMA route first.
Right.
But all of her skills easily translate, and now especially a lot of the stuff that she's been in, in the movies and things like that. She's learning how to, how to take care of her personality, and how does that now flow in? And we're obviously the blend of both.
Yeah.
So she's having a great time, enjoying it, keeping it extremely real. And the fan base is loving that aspect.
Yeah, they're eating it up.
Yeah, they are. Because
I'm happy for her.
Yeah,
I really am.
By the way, super nice.
Oh, I had on.
Oh, you had her on? Super
bunch.
nice.
Love her.
But there is, you can see in her eye though, there is that when she clicks that switch, you're like, oh, check.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out of here.
She's tough for real, man.
She can do it.
Over the years,
one of the best in the world.
Over the years, there were people that came in and you knew not to push their buttons too much. She was one of them. She's on a very short list. No, a short list of people where you're like, you got to be a little careful. You say one wrong thing and it could go sideways quick.
Yeah.
But she's a cool person, man. Great personality, great stories. She was awesome. You think she has one more MMA run in her?
I don't know. I think that would really depend on her.
Why would she want to do that?
If that's something she would want to do.
Just because how she went
becoming
out.
a WWE star. Why would you want to do that?
I mean, if you're a competitor.
It's still, I don't know.
Because she was amazing. And then, unfortunately, the last couple of fights were rough, so maybe that still plays in her head. That's all.
That's a tough division. That female division's tough.
It got pretty tough.
Really fast.
Right,
Yeah.
really fast.
It got really competitive. I enjoy watching some of those fights better than some guy fights.
Oh, yeah,
They knock the
absolutely.
shit out of each
They
other.
go for it. Right?
Man, they go for it. They have no, like, it's like a straight brawl from the minute they come out.
Yeah, there's a lot of anger there.
There's a lot of anger there.
But I think you're seeing
A lot of
that.
anger.
You're seeing that in obviously a lot of sports.
Right.
And WWE is doing one October 28th, I believe, is the date, and we're having an all-female pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's because of it's time for that, and the women have, in my view, surpassed a lot of the men. That's all there used to be with in-ring quality, how hard they work. They want it more.
Right.
It's like an up-and-coming rookie wants it more, no matter
Right.
if you're male or female, than sometimes than the top dog.
Yeah.
And you see that hunger. So you have a lot
Especially
of...
their whole life, people tell them they couldn't do it. So they have
Exactly.
that
They're like,
fire.
Oh my God, you got to be this? Are you
Right.
crazy?
Right.
Especially getting into more of the fight game or WWE game.
And it doesn't hurt that Vince is going to make them all wrestle topless.
Not.
Fucking. I
Awesome.
knew this podcast was going too long.
That's it.
I knew Opie was going
That
to
was
shit
it?
the bed.
And there it is.
And there it is.
And that's it.
I respect
Is that the
Like-
salvo?
Like we're having such a good. I knew that he wasn't going to take the motorcycle bitch ride very well. He was going to wait,
I just want-
throw a shit cupcake out there.
I just wanted
throw
to
it all
hear
out
how
there.
quickly Shane would go, not.
Not.
I'm kidding, obviously. Whatever.
You
It's
guys
awesome.
have been ahead of the curve, though. I mean,
Yeah.
for any entertainment to last this long, I mean, you
Well,
have to be the greatest storyteller on earth. I mean, to reinvent.
They reinvented
Continually.
themselves over and over again.
Every
to.
generation has
Yeah.
a different wrestling
Sure.
story. Like mine was the British Bulldogs and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Hulk Hogan.
Right.
And I actually Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant were actually behind me. So I'm kind of in that middle part.
Right.
And then people a little younger than me have a different one.
Sure.
And older than me, it's crazy.
I go
Every
old-
generation has a completely different story, but just as
Well, I go.
since the advent of television,
right. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
wrestling has been on since
Right.
the 50s that way. And I'll digress for a second. Really going back into the 20s and 30s, my great grandfather, Jess McMahon, was promoter for Madison Square Garden. So
Wow.
he was the fight promoter, the booker. He worked for Tex Rickard. So
Wow.
So any major fight that came in was through Jess McMahon. And you guys saw the movie Cinderella Man?
Sure.
Yeah.
So Braddock,
Yeah.
he got a second shot because I forget which guy fell out. And, Jess being Irish went with one of his own. So he went back to the docks, went to Braddock's during the Depression and said, hey, I got a shot, kid, if you want it. Braddock said, yeah. Then he won and then held it for a little while and changed his life around. So,
Wow.
And then when boxing had prohibition, what the Garden would do is they needed to fill the dates. So that's things that came in. I mean, different types of stuff came in, but circus was a staple, and then wrestling really came around. But then wrestling was, 20, 30, 40 an hour match, in smoke-filled arena was a complete different product. But that's really the indoctrination of how it happened. And then my grandfather saw that. Did some boxing, did some concerts, did some stuff, but really focused on the wrestling aspect and, matchmaking and, how do we take that to a bigger thing, and created really the Northeast territory. And then there was a bunch of fiefdoms around.
Yeah.
So all over the country. And then my dad came around and said, hey, let's all join everyone together. And they said, no. And he says, well, I'm going to do it anyway. And so and then he went national and now global.
Right.
So that's really the history of.
And when your dad put that all together, I mean, that's literally like putting mobs together. I mean, there must have been bad blood and people trying to screw you. And
oh yeah,
that must have been crazy. That's like making the earth. Putting all those people together.
And there's some interesting stories.
I could have the shadiness that went on when your dad tried to put that together.
Even before, I mean, again, you can imagine all of these businesses were cash. So
and your dad's trying to make them legit.
Even before my dad. So even going back to my grandfather, and there are a lot of sharks out there, especially when it's all cash business. Tickets, there were no such thing as computers back then. It was all, there's a ticket stub, there's $1, and does it add up or not? So you can imagine, if someone wanted to,
screw you over,
go in, or the other way around,
right?
So
that's probably the hardest thing ever. That was, if you could do that, then everything else was cake. Putting all these crazy people together.
Sure.
Imagine asking crazy people from across the country, let's join together and make this legit.
No, you nailed it by saying it's getting a bunch of mob families to come together.
Yeah, like putting all 5 families together.
They were incredibly territorial, obviously, and they were stealing each other's wrestlers before your dad figured out to just make it a, one big giant
That's a
company.
story for the ages.
And we did that. And specifically built, because we all grew up with Saturday and Sunday mornings primarily. Those here in New York grew up Saturday night, Channel 47 on the Spanish station.
Yeah.
But then it became a staple for Saturday morning and Sunday morning. And that same show would air in New York, and then it would air in Chicago. And then so everyone had the same time slot. And there was over 300 different syndicated television stations. So literally it was our own network.
Wow.
That you built, that consistent time slot Saturday and Sunday morning, whether it be between 10 and noon. As soon as cartoons would go off the air, it would go right into that. So that's how we all grew up on that.
Wow. I forgot to ask you, I know we're wrapping up, but where are we at with the XFL? We're getting closer now.
Getting closer.
When does it start? Another year, right?
Yep. I don't have the exact date on it, and that's still to be determined.
But more or less next winter, right?
Yep.
Shane, can Opie do the pregame again? Because last time was such a big success.
Yeah.
Can we get Opie and Carl in the pregame?
Possible. You never know.
I don't want to do it with Opie because I saw pictures of him.
All right.
I think he
Shane
under-delivered.
handpicked me. It was Shane's fault.
It was my my bad. No.
He did handpick us though. Shane was the man.
If you come into the arena on the back of a bike with someone, we may.
I will ride that
we
bike.
We may have something.
We'll get Bobby
Let
Seager, we're doing it.
me ask you this: a real question about the XFL. So, what are you guys going to do differently from the last time to make it work? Although a lot of the shit the XFL did, the NFL took after the XFL disbanded.
Right.
So you guys definitely helped the NFL.
Well, it definitely changed the game, specifically point of view cameras where, they never were before, different types of coverage.
Right.
One of the differences, as it moves forward is keep it more on the pure sport aspect. and that's what's going to happen.
So you mean they're going to play football again? That's going to be awesome.
Playing football.
Now?
Oh, geez.
I'm telling you, you guys were this fucking close.
Very.
Because you guys
Very.
were this close where it was going to make it.
Yeah, I think it's going to make it.
They were a lot closer than people realize.
Very.
Right?
So hence that's why it's going again.
You want to give it one more shot.
Yeah, and football's an amazing game.
But how are you going to deal with playing in the middle of winter, or are you guys moving into different arenas that might have better weather, or?
Again, there's not to be vague on it, but
That's okay.
Deliberately be vague. There's still a lot to determine on it.
And figure out.
Specifically where it's going to be, how many teams, etc. But even here in the New York market, when we had the XFL, when they had the Hitmen, it did very well.
Yeah.
And attendance was really picking up. So the weather really wasn't an issue because, I mean, you look at people that are here in late November, December. They're bundled up and they're ready.
Right.
So it's the same December and February. Really, the temperatures are the same.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it, I think.
Shane, you let me know. I'll do my Food Network tailgate out of the first.
I like it.
Just for you guys. I'll cook my ass off.
Yeah, you
awesome.
will.
I will.
Awesome.
I'll bring all my boys, all the Food Network guys.
Well, Shane, it was awesome.
I think it's going to work.
I think they have a real shot.
All you got to do is play football.
Right.
Complete opposite of the NFL. Just play football. That's
a few guys made it to the NFL, and
it's going to be fine.
Yeah, it's going to be all right. Shane, this was a pleasure catching up for
Thanks,
real.
man.
It's been way too long. We got to do this again. And you're promoting WWE SmackDown's 1000th episode, which is tomorrow night, Tuesday. Wow, at 8 p.m. on the USA Network, with a lot of surprises.
Oh boy. Thanks, guys.
Oh, look, he's got to go. Joey, wrap it up. Shane wants out.
Yeah, Shane's had it.
Thank you, Shane McMahon.
Okay, Photoshop listeners, let's get that sidecar picture with Greg and Carl online now and leave us a 5-star review with Apple Podcasts. Since this podcast is free, how about buying a hat or a t-shirt at OpieRadio.com? Check out our links in the description for more. Opie Radio followbacks. So let's look out into our magic window and give a great big Opie Radio followback to the following. Rob Moore at Irish Rob 732. Don Clark at DSC TLC1. Thanks for the extra support at Sweet Jimmy 79, my man. At the lovely Amy K at ALK 2001. And my friend Lucy at Leonard JESN1. And let's throw in Mike Barker at Army Panda 313. And one more for the road, Jenna at Just Me JLG. By the way, DM me at Joey Salvia on Twitter if you have a special comment or want to shout out a birthday or whatever. I'll try to include you in the follow-back shout-out section of our podcast in the future. Thanks again for the support, and thanks for downloading this episode of Opie Radio. And because Carl loves you so much, at EV Guitar Man, take it away. From the Westwood One Podcast Network.